of the Jamaican Grand Slam track in Kingston. This is Andrew with Total Running Productions, joined by Colin from Track World News. Colin, how's your weekend been? What are you excited about today?
You hear that?
Absolutely.
That was great. Little sound effect.
DJing.
And weekend's been great. I mean, track and field all weekend long. Friday track, Saturday track, Sunday track. Can't get much better than that. And seeing some high quality competitions, and also getting to talk to my wonderful friend Andrew about it. So all's well in the world. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's been good. Track is obviously going all over the place this weekend. We've got Grand Slam, we've had the Miramar Invite, there's some Florida Relays action, and there was also the Berlin Half Marathon this morning, so which is road running, but it's been fun. And I do want to address, I am very optimistic about today's stream. Yesterday we did have some technical difficulties, and we were trying to fix them in real time. And I want to give a big shout out to the media operators and the production crew on site. You guys have no clue. They were hustling all over the stadium, looking for the right connections, looking for the right angles, looking for new things to try out. I'm very optimistic about today, and I think we're going to be smooth sailing the entire time, no issues. You're not going to see any glitches, maybe one or two. We'll hope they're minimal, but we're going to stay on the whole time. We're going to be happy. We're going to enjoy this stream, and today we're going to see some more people crowned as the 100K champions. We saw Matthew Hudson Smith, Gabby Thomas, Kenny Bednarek taking home that $100,000 yesterday. A huge payday. Like, this is a historic level of paydays in track and field, unless you're breaking a world record at the Olympics or the World Champs. And this is just one of four. I can't help but think that Kenny Bednarek and Gabby and Matthew Hudson Smith, these guys are going to have their pockets full this year. So now that it's actually unfolded and the money is coming in, how do you gauge, just this new payout system?
Yeah, I mean, with what you said there, I saw Dream Richards after the race, who didn't even win. He came in third place, I think it was, overall. He even said this is the most amount of money he's ever won in one weekend of track and field, and he didn't even win. So, like, just put that into consideration. A man who's at the top of his field, he's definitely one of the guys who's always been a contender for nearly a decade now. Is saying that this weekend is the most he's ever gotten paid. That is pretty impressive, and shows just how big this is. If you have guys like him saying that this is a really big day, and with money comes new opportunity. With new opportunity comes more reasons to try, and that makes the whole world of track and field better, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And now that we have like the payouts, we've got the people who won the certain amounts of money. Let's go through those different categories. So, Matthew Hudson Smith, this is in the men's long sprints, 400, 200, $100,000 to Hudson Smith. Christopher Bailey with a $50,000 payout. Man's doing solid. He won the World Indoor Champs, $50,000 richer. Like you mentioned, Dream Richards took home 30K, coming in at fourth place. Vernon Norwood, 25,000. I mean, this is like, this is more than a living wage. I think this is one of the few times when you'll see in track history where you're seeing athletes get good numbers. We're still not talking NBA quality, which that's hopefully to come. That's down the line, but everyone all the way down to eighth. Eighth place is $10,000 for 2 days of racing. This is really great. I'm super happy for the athletes, and I'm super optimistic about what this means down the line. But money aside, what were some of the races and the results you saw from yesterday that either surprised you or you found the most impressive?
Yeah, for me, it's got to be the sweep by Kenny B. I knew that he was in great shape. I knew that he is just a consummate professional. But to go out, like, it's hard to beat somebody twice, and it's really hard to beat somebody back to back days. And he did that. Like, if I'm remembering correctly, he was the only one of those people that swept, right?
I think
Obviously, he has
so,
the
yeah.
potential today for a sweep, but like it's that's difficult to do, man. Like, even though they're two different events, and that second half might be a stronger event, like it's difficult to go back and take somebody's lunch 2 days in a row, and he did that, and that's impressive. Like he talked about how he's been working on his start for the last few months, and that's been a huge point of focus for him, and it was evident. Like he was out the blocks first in that 100. In the 200, Fred Curley got out really well, and I thought, oh man, he might be taking home this win, but Kenny was able to reel him in and eventually get the win there. So for me, it's got to be him. Like he just had a very impressive 2 days of track and field, Mister 100K Kenny. Congratulations to him.
Oh yeah, it's no longer Kung Fu Kenny. Boys, boys made his way, or the man has made his way to six figures in two races. Got to be some kind of record. So I'm also with you. Kenny B was great, but we got to talk about. I think the men's 1500 from yesterday and the women's 400 were the most memorable for me. Though that men's 1500 was amazing. You've got all three medalists from last year's Olympics: Cole Hawker, the kicking man; Josh Kerr, who shows up in the big moments; and Yard Nagus. Emmanuel Wanyanyi from Kenya shows up and takes down the whole field. It's just not supposed to happen. An 800 specialist going up to the 15, taking down those specialists. I mean, you got to give Wanyanyi his flowers. That was an amazing race. 3:35, no slouch. That's a quick time. You're not going to see that win a Diamond League final, but then again, you're going to have a pacer there. I think he closed his final 200 in around 25, 25.5, and that is no easy feat. That's moving. But as much as that really did impress me, I think the overall time of Salwe Nasser in that women's four,
Before we can I touch on that one before we switch to the next topic on
absolutely
the
switch,
15?
switch. You jump on it.
Yeah, like I think this is going to be growing pains and learning strategies for these 1500-meter men. And I bet you that this is going to teach all the 800 guys, that you really need to separate yourself in your own primary event here. So what do I mean by that? Well, with Josh Kerr, Cole Hawker, Yared Nagus, all of these people, when you're running in this 15, they thought that it was going to be a cake work, similar to where we saw it was top five that were all separated by like a second, and then it was 4 seconds in between, and then we saw some 800-meter guys there. I think they thought all of the 800-meter guys were going to be in that second thing where they're going to win by 4 seconds. And that's not the
Mm.
case. Like, you can't have a sit and kick race with your Olympic gold medalist in the 800 meters and him still in that front category. So I think this was a poor race strategy where they thought everyone was not going to be in that front group, and it's going to, come down to that top tier. And so I bet you next Grand Slam, we're going to see a different race strategy where they're going to get out quicker so that they don't have these 800-meter guys hanging around to potentially beat them, because they don't have this foot speed to keep up with these 800-meter runners. Like, I don't see Yair Nagus, Cole Hawker, Josh Kerr being able to keep up with them in an 800-meter race. Like, I think it's going to be tough to make up that ground, and it starts with making sure you can dominate your own event.
Yeah, strategy in the early moments of the 15 in the future are gonna be key. And I think if the 1500 guys genuinely want to take down Wanyanyi, they're gonna have to go out much faster. And speaking of that event, the men's 800 is gonna be today. So Hawker, Josh Kerr, Yard Nagus, they're gonna be going up against Wanyanyi, a rope, and let's give Bryce Hoppel his flowers here. He ran a 141 in the Olympic finals, one of the very few athletes to ever go under 142 and wasn't even medaling. That 141 is unbelievably quick, and so I'm sure he'll favor better in the 800 as opposed to the 15. Get some points, bring home some cash. I'm very excited to see how it plays out because you're actually getting hints that Cole Hawker feels like his 800 potential is getting close to the 142 area, which is genuinely world class. You've got very few people ever under 143, so that's going to be a highlight today. Obviously, we've got Sydney McLaughlin Lavrone lining up again. I mean, when she runs the 400, she's a force. I'm not expecting her to challenge Salwe Nasser's time of 48:67 yesterday. I doubt she's going to need to go anywhere near that fast to bring home the 100K. It just doesn't seem like a necessary thing. She doesn't need to go all out, but we'll see what happens. Today's lineup is exciting. So, we're about to get started here. I believe in the next minute we should be going live to Kingston. I'm seeing in the chat we're getting some shout outs to your favorite moments. The 1500 was hard to beat. McLaughlin sub 49 today, very possible. I mean, again, I feel like she's not going to be challenged at all. She is definitely in a league of her own in her event. The schedule
She's
today is
another. She's negative 10,000 favorite right now, in an event that's not even her. That is a combined negative 20,000 in both back-to-back events. For for those that don't know what that is, because you may not be sports bettors. First, don't get into it. It's a terrible habit. And it is you'd have to bet $20,000 in between both of those just to win $200. That is how sure of a thing they were saying it is for her to win those events. Incredible. Incredible.
yeah, that's I mean, you don't see that. You just don't. If someone's going negative even up to a negative 1,000, that's already pretty dominant. But multiply that by 10. That's
Sure.
crazy.
They're saying okay, it's a guarantee that they're winning, which like also brings the for the future, how could we see, since there is some overlap in these 400 meters, there's overlap in some of these events, could we see the way that they structure these grand slams in the future be where some of these racers may race in the other version of it? Like, so could we see where City McLaughlin still doing the 400-meter hurdles and the open 400, but instead of racing them in this heat, maybe she races it in the open 400 heat? Like, I would have loved to see her going up against Paulino, Gabby Thomas, Sawa Nasser. Like, that would have been a really interesting and exciting race. And then similarly, going down, like where you have the 200, 400. Like, I would love to see, Gabby Thomas sometimes go up against, whether it's Melissa Jefferson, Daryl Nita, in this 200. So I think there's some interesting ways that they can do this with the overlap that they have, that can make it even more exciting, with as we move forward here.
Yeah, I'm with you. And look, shout out to the lower left hand. You got a Safa Powell, the sub 10 king. Justin Gatlin's in the picture with him, an Olympic champion. And then in the corner, you got Kenny Bednarek, taking the off day, really flexing that 100K. I would imagine he might have a brand new Rolex. Maybe what's the expensive watch? The Patek Philippe.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's jumping in that quickly. I'm sure he's not going to be splurging at the local malls. But it's great to see the athletes coming back to watch on day 3. This is going to be another great day of track and field, everyone. And but returning to your
I got
point, as Justin Gatlin gets a selfie, I do wonder if we're going to see any overlap, because I wholly agree. To see McLaughlin Levrone compete against Paulino, Salweed Nasser, and Gabby Thomas, that's the matchup people want to see in the 400. That's the one that has eluded the fans since 2023. I believe the last time that Paulino and McLaughlin Levrone raced was in the 2023 Paris Diamond League, and McLaughlin went out like a rocket, and then Paulino closed and actually caught her at the end. So those are two Olympic champions that could potentially clash. We will see, but as you can see on the top left, also, we are 8.5 minutes away from the women's short hurdles 100-meter race. Going to see the opening speed really hit the track early, and another beautiful day here. You couldn't ask for better weather in a track event. Minimal winds, just open skies, warm weather, great for just great for sprinting. Pretty decent for your middle distance. The distance runners are going to need to make sure they're staying hydrated. But I mean, look at this backdrop. Like Jamaica, Kingston, a beautiful country, great athletes. Um, we got to get down there sometime.
Yeah, I would love to go to see. I haven't. I've been to Jamaica once. Fun fact about Jamaica. Well, let me tell you exactly what happened. I tell you the last time I went there. It was my senior year of college, high school. Lied to you. And one of my friend. Long story short, one of my friends had lost their like passport in the ocean, and we thought that we were done for, before our vacation started. Eventually we found it, and then fast forward, we're in Jamaica, and that same friend finds $100 on the beach, and we're like, no, like, you're not keeping that. Like, you almost gave us a heart attack because you almost lost your passport here. And had to share it with my friend who found it. So that's my most memorable Jamaican moment. Obviously, no, not track related at all.
Hey, it's still interesting. And here's the athletes coming out of the track. The women's short hurdles, the 100 meters is today. And, this is an interesting lineup here, because you've got your hurdle specialists, your Jasmine Camacho Quinn, Akira Nugent from Jamaica, Danielle Williams from Jamaica. There's the Olympic champ Messiah Russell, Amber Hughes, Denisha Cartwright, and yesterday's 100 hurdles winner Tia Jones, halfway to that 100K. You know, you got to think these women have amazing flat speed. They're doing hurdles and they're right at that 12.5, 12.4, 12.3 barrier. Could we see, a time that gets close to 11 today if we get good wind?
I mean, I think it's going to be tough. I mean, judging based off of what we saw last night. So I mean, last night, your winning time by Melissa Jefferson, who obviously she was on that gold medal 4x1 team. And did she come in second or third at the
She was bronze
Olympics?
behind Alfred and
Bronze,
Richardson.
yeah, bronze. And so she, bronze medalist, Olympic gold, Olympic bronze medalist, running in 11:11. Who, she's obviously faster than any of these women are in the hurdles in the open 100. I mean, it would only make sense. So, and she's running in 11:11. Like, I think it's going to be tough to get too much closer unless there's significantly different types of wind than we saw last night.
Yeah, I'm with you. I definitely think there's a chance for them to go very fast, but to get close to that 11-second barrier is going to be very, very challenging. But super excited to watch, anyways. And yeah, we're gonna have various camera angles again. We're trying out the quad screen again for day 3.
Quad box.
Yeah, quad box. We're gonna take some surveys on what the athletes. Well, I guess not the athletes, what the viewers prefer moving into future Grand Slams. So let us know your feelings on the quad box. Let us know your feelings on camera angles you want. Again, this is the very first one. I'm just so pumped to be able to watch this live, hang out with all you legends of track on this channel. And Colin, thanks for being here as well. This is really cool, and this is something that we have been pushing for a very long time. And shout out to Creator Sports Network. They're hosting this. They're getting everything created for us, and so this is a big collaborative effort. Yeah, it's really cool. I was not sure something like this would happen this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this is unprecedented in our sport, like in just the sports world as a whole. Like, usually you'd have, like, things like this would cost tens of thousands of dollars to request permission to do. Like, if you were trying go to the NFL and try to request to stream one of their games legally and see how that goes,
I
how
mean,
much
you'd be
money you'd
struck
have to
down
spend
in
on
about
that.
38 seconds.
Yeah, like, it doesn't happen. And so, like, and even in our sport, like, we haven't been able to do one of these things. You have to go to people that are, might be streaming under not the right so types of ways to do so. And so to be able to do this and be supported, thank you for Grand Slam, CSN, Peacock, all the people.
Yeah, total collaborative effort. And it started with Michael Johnson getting his idea together, and there have been a lot of ideas. And it's one thing to have an idea, and it's another thing to execute and have it come to fruition. And we've seen a lot of good ideas come and go, but it's here. That's the important thing to remember. Like, we are here, and I'm also seeing in the comments, I'm seeing a lot of good ideas. The quad box is actually really good for when it comes to the warm ups, the different angles. Like, it's cool. We get to see them warming up from angles, and when the race starts, in that point we could turn it into one screen. That's a good idea. I like that. I mean, I think that would make it easier on the production team as well. And so we'll make sure that there's some feedback towards everyone. I like where your head's at, chat. So yeah, women's short hurdles, 100 meters. Let's turn up the volume on the track and take a listen to some of the shout outs.
A lot of great running on new tracks because they're faster. And then as they begin to cure, they get a little softer, and that's when they kind of lose that bounce and spring, and so it becomes better for distance running. So that's why we've been seeing so many fast times this early. It's a great track. It's resurfaced, and it shows.
So you've run in this stadium. You have not run on this track just yet. Calling all our races today, upstairs, Steve Cram, Kerry Tullifson, and Anson Henry.
All right, let's do an over-under again like yesterday. So women's short hurdles, 100 meters. Let's do over-under 11.3. How about that? 11.3. Over-under 11.3.
That's an excellent line, by the way. Oh man, that is
Yeah, I put exactly 4 seconds into that thought, and so Really
Yeah, no,
went from the
you're a natural. You're a natural, man. We get it. I was gonna say like right around 11-3. I'm gonna go 11-2-8. I mean,
and the
looking at
wind
these
is gonna.
PRs,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's
some
another reference point. I'm sure a lot of them have
PR.
not run a competitive 100 meters in a minute, and so I would
Yeah,
imagine the average is going to fall below that PR. But I did see an 11:09, so that's pretty impressive from Akira Nugent.
yeah. I couldn't imagine Tia Jones is gonna run pretty much the same time at a 100-meter hurdle race, in the open
Yeah,
100. Couldn't imagine that's
exactly.
gonna happen.
Yeah, 11:3. I could see 11:2. I could see 11:3, maybe 4. We're going to get an idea what the wind is doing for this opening race as well. So if you're going to go -1, -2 meters per second, it's going to make it significantly more challenging. But let's hear Steve Cram from Great Britain on the mic real quick.
Masai Russell, perhaps a little slower though. Really disappointing from her yesterday, only finished 5th, the Olympic champion in the hurdles. Next to her, Denisha Cartwright. Came back from China, made a semi-final in those World Indoors. She's pretty swift as well, watch out for her. And then on the outside will be Amber Hughes, another who was representing the USA at the World Indoor Championships in the hurdles. So it says short hurdles, but no barriers, just the wind and your competitor here.
Yeah, man. Tia Jones yesterday was a surprise, but not a surprise. It's so competitive in 100-meter hurdles that there's usually 5 or 6 competitors that really have a chance to win. But here, she was a late replacement for Nia Ali. She just happened to be here with her training group, and all of a sudden got asked if she wants a chance at $100,000. In great position right now. But Akira Nugent's been...
All right, women's 100 meters and short hurdles. Who's going to come away with a $100,000 payday? Let's head to the track. Sounds and sights from Kingston, Jamaica.
So Nugent is in lane 4, the third one from the far side. Tia Jones right over there in lane 2 with the 12 points at the moment. Camacho Quinn is right in the middle. Masai Russell, Olympic 100 hurdles champion. Next to her, and away they get. Nugent gets a good start, so is Danielle Williams, and Tia Jones has been left a little bit at the moment. Also going well is Cartwright, but look at Williams. Williams is going to take this. Williams just gets the lead. 11:54, and Tia Jones was nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
I think we've got Danielle Williams.
Nugent with 8 points in second place, but that's not going to be enough. It's going to be Danielle Williams after running
Is nowhere to be seen in that top list. Who's coming
Oh,
out
no.
with the hurdle championship? She was
wow.
dusted. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to bring home that 100K.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely not. Tia Jones is
No.
not winning $100,000.
Let's see. This is interesting to figure out in real time. I think it's Danielle Williams because she was second yesterday. I think Danielle Williams is going to bring home 100K right to her local island of Jamaica. That's a big win. That's massive. You think they're going to have a 100,000 payday for commentators or creators ever? Think we could jump in on this action?
If they do, I deserve to make that money for sure. What they have to have is they need to have 100 like a creator race. Like they have that at a couple other things. I did a 400 for the first time in 5 years at Prefontaine this past year. It hurt as much as you could imagine. So I would definitely train my ass off if they were like, hey, a $1,000 content creator race for the 100. Oh, I'm doing it. 100%.
That'd be fun. That'd be great. So yeah, we got Danielle Williams from Jamaica bringing home the $100,000, 11:54 in the women's 100. Looking at for the wind right now, still not posted. But my guess would be it probably was on the negative. It was a lot of negative wind yesterday. But decent start here for the final day in Kingston. We'll have those again. The results are posted up in the top link if you want to check on those. And we're going to end that poll. Let's see who was right and who was wrong. I think most people said they were going to go under 11.3. Yeah. Again, if the wind is not cooperating, the times are not going to follow suit. But great start. Huge day for Williams. Congratulations. Previous world champ. And now we're actually moving over to another very interesting race that I'm excited about. This is the men's long hurdles, the Open 400. And we actually got a really quick quick PB here with Alisson dos Santos from Brazil. He ran a 44.5 open 400, and for a hurdler to be getting that kind of speed is impressive. That I'm pretty confident that's far and away the fastest PB in this field. But I think it's very possible we're going to have ourselves some sub 45s, if not right outside that 45-second barrier. What's your take on this race, Colin?
Yeah, I mean, so coming into this, 44.54, and then, Rashawn Clark right behind him as well, 44.98. He did that on this home soil. I think it was last year, so he knows this track. He obviously has ran it a lot, and he's fast there. It's hard to take a gather of these times because I think the competition is really good, but the times are not, and since this is such a new thing, like we haven't seen track athletes of this caliber running this early, we have this expectation that this is like June or July times when it clearly isn't. And so it's difficult to kind of pair those things, together. So.
And for the athletes, yes, they want to come out the gate hot and win some money and prove their greatness, but if they can, in fact, time their season to where they're fit throughout, May, then June, and then take that momentum into the world champs, these athletes still want to win the world championships. I mean, for a lot of people, that is the ultimate goal. But having a league like this, having money available, their well-being and just their bank accounts are going to be a lot better suited. So this is a changing of the dynamic of how track operates. And here comes the men's long hurdles. They're entering the stadium now. I just can't exaggerate how tall Alisson dos Santos is. I mean, he's next to Rashawn Clark, who's got to be 6'5", and dos Santos, I mean, this man stands at 6'7", easily the tallest athlete in track and field right now.
6'7". Yeah, no, he's a big guy, and I mean that's probably why he can get around the hurdles, get around the track so easily, because I mean he barely has to lift his knees to get up and over these hurdles. But what you had brought up there just a second ago about about these athletes, will they try to get this try to be fit throughout the entire year because of this Grand Slam and the opportunities that it has here. I was talking to Noah Williams about this in my previous podcast with him. What would it take? What do you think? What is the amount of money that would need to be up for grabs for athletes to say they're prioritizing Grand Slam over the Olympics? For example, like in basketball, nobody cares how many Olympic gold medals you have. Like, sure, it's nice if you have them, but that's not what you're judged off of. You're judged off of, how you do in the NBA and those championships. So what do you think it would take? Because there's got to be a number. Like, people are like, oh no, it's always the Olympics. Like, it's always something until it's not. And so what do you think that number might be that it would take until for someone to say, look, Olympics would be nice, but I need to win Grand Slam track?
I think that's a twofold question. I think it's going to take some time, first off, because if it's just one track season, you come in and there's a $500,000 cash prize for each, slam. Obviously, more people are going to be drawn to a number like that. But they're still going to want to win that Olympics. The Olympics are such a unique thing. I don't think this is possible or even really a reality, but say that's $1 million, and it's 4 slams. Are people going to go out and try to make $4 million in a year and then ignore the Olympics? I mean, I don't know. It's a good question, and it could bring out how the NBA works. The NBA, they don't have 4 slams. They have 82 games in a year, and they've got so much higher profile because NBA just reaches huge audiences, and you've got stars in that league, and they've got massive name recognition. Your Steph Curry's, LeBron James, but maybe you could see down the line, if the money is there and the consistency is there, your Noah Lyles, your Sha'Carri Richardson, your Rai Benjamin dos Santos, or heck, even some distance guys. Let's throw in some 1500 legends. Let's get some Cole Hawker, Josh Kerr, Yard Naguse, and now Wanyonyi. If all of that can happen more consistently, then it might be a thing. That's for the world to decide if they're wanting that much track and they're willing to pay or show up, and I think we've got an audience that's willing to do that. But I think I went off on exactly 3 tangents there. What do you think, Colin?
Yeah, like I think that it's not ignoring. It wouldn't be ignoring the Olympics where it's like, oh, I don't, but I think there can be a world and a time where people don't prioritize it as much. And I think a league like this could have potential to do so. And yeah, if the money's right and then the allure is right and the competition is right, then it makes sense. Like imagine if we had the, Sha'Carri's, Julian Alfreds, Noah Lyles, Grant Holloways, Rai Benjamins, Jakob Ingebrigtsens in the world doing this, which is like I think there is a time that can happen and the money is right. Like, yeah, if you're telling me I could win $4 million in a year, you're damn right I'm going to prioritize the Grand Slam over the Olympics. And yes, I'd love to win the Olympics. It would be fantastic. It would be great and excellent. But my training cycle would change because that would be a big enough incentive for me to make sure that I'm right for those 4 races.
Yeah, and you gotta, I'm thinking about this. This is a good conversation to have. And chat, leave your thoughts. What money amount per slam would incentivize the athletes to prioritize Grand Slam over the Olympics or World Champs per se? But when it comes to running, I mean, it's just an inherently different sport than your basketball, baseball, football, soccer. You have to time your season. You can't reach peak fitness for 8 straight months. It's 100% digging out every ounce of energy you can from yourself, and you have to peak at the right time. And some people are masters at that. You're Andre DeGrasse. Noah's clearly gotten good at it. Julian Alfred. So you can't expect to be in peak fitness for 8 months out of the year. While in basketball, you need to have that shot locked in, and you can practice. It's not necessarily about that super unearthing of every ounce of energy you have and getting to quote unquote peak fitness. It's more like being mentally on and having your shot on and being ready. So it's inherently different sports, and maybe there's something to that which could I don't know, bring out some more just some more steady running through the year. And there's also the fact that in a lot of senses, you're looking at track athletes comparing to world records and times. You can't expect people to get close to Bolt's world record in the 100 for more than possibly 1 month out of the year. And even at that, he's still over a 10th faster than everyone else. It's a very nuanced conversation to have, and I think we're getting a little lost here. So let's head back to this, listen to a little bit of the lineups here on the men's 400.
With that inseam, for sure. Roshan Clark, you talked about him. We'll be quiet because they'll cheer for him.
He's the world under 20 national record holder in this discipline.
He's a pup, is what we're saying with him. Chris Robinson, there you see the A, ran there in Tuscaloosa. Great sprinter and hurdler for the University of Alabama. Has won a national championship as well. There's Malik James King from Jamaica, 4th in the 400 hurdles the first race. And his countryman, Sine Wilson, also from Jamaica, 22. Jamaica's got a bunch of young guys in this event that can go.
They do, and he only missed making the Olympic team by 1.
Shout out to the stream. It's super smooth. Everything's looking great. I'm very much enjoying this. Hope you all are too. But back to the track.
They're ready.
On your mark.
So if I was to strategize, I would take it out hard, try to relax, and let the wind take me on the backstretch. Prepare on the second turn, and it's all heart and strength coming home in that headwind.
We'll go back to your 400-meter prowess after this race.
I don't want to talk about that, man.
Here we go. Crowd goes quiet. Clark has started very, very quickly, already taking the meter out of Dos Santos and more through the first 100 meters, so he's not hanging around. Dos Santos losing ground as well to Dean outside him. Down the back stretch, also going well is Chris Robinson, and the 2 Jamaicans are a little bit adrift at the minute in lanes 2 and 3. Now Dos Santos just starts to get moving, but it's Robinson and Clark in the middle, although Clark looks as though he's got some work to do here, because look at Dean. Dean in lane 7 and his teammate Chris Robinson. Has Dos Santos got anything? Well, Sean Clark's starting to come back. This is where the wind might affect them. Have they gone too hard? Robinson is treading in water here. Dos Santos is coming through. Who's going to get to the line first? It could well be the Brazilian. Dos Santos takes it.
Man,
What a finish.
what a close. 45-5-3 for Dos Santos. 45-5-2.
52, all the way down the home straight. It was like he
Robinson
had
was
Robinson
leading
on a
that
rope
for
and he was
Yeah.
pulling him in and pulling him in.
Majority of that race, and then to see Dos Santos just talk him down, Venezuela's blaring in the background.
Yeah.
Incredible victory right there.
I mean, that's the $100,000 race. Locked it up. I think he would have won it even had he gotten second, but you know he was seeing that finish line and like, I gotta get here, I gotta get there fast. So, man, that was just a great overall 400 blanket finish. Really pushing. You can see them; they're still huffing and puffing from that. That was a big effort. They dug deep.
Yeah, they're putting it all out on the line there, and I mean, it paid out. Like, that was a great race, and I was definitely biting my nails, wondering who it's going to be. I thought that Alison Dos Santos was out of it for that last 50 meters. It looked like he just didn't have a chance, and he just slowly started eating up this track, and all of a sudden, he's coming out on top, just out leaning at the line. Just very impressive.
Yeah, that was nice. That was a 3 to 4 meter comeback. Kept his form, 45-52. You know, we had a lot of predictions under 45, but you got to think these guys also ran a very impressive 400 hurdles race yesterday, so their legs are probably a little affected. But man, another $100,000 winner. What should Alison Dos Santos do with that 100K? You know, we looked up actually before the stream what you could do with $100,000, and you know, they were kind of corporate. You're like, oh, invest in this, do this. I want to hear some good ideas in the chat. What would you do with that $100,000 payday?
You know what I would do?
Hit me.
Let's see. Let me make sure my number was right. I would buy 14,285 Happy Meals from McDonald's, probably. I feel like that would be a great use of my money, and that's probably what I would end up doing. I think that would be great.
You know,
great,
just
great
for
use of funds.
the creativity of your answer, I gotta give you props. You know, you're
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
battle against some caloric issues, but I respect it. Respect it a
yeah,
lot.
I mean, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. So I think that'd be the only fair use.
Wait,
of
did you
money.
say Happy Meals? Is that what you said?
Happy Meals, 10-piece nuggets, whatever you want to call it. We'll go with the whole kit and
Because if
caboodle.
you're getting Happy Meals, you're getting the toys. But
Exactly.
it's so easy to talk non-track things for a minute with $100,000 up in the air. See if we got any any interesting ideas. Buy $100,000 worth of White Castle hamburgers. You know, I respect that.
People are on the same vibe as me. I
Yeah,
opened
I
up
bet.
this.
We're going straight to fast food. I love it.
Yeah.
Order a hamburger. Like, I mean, I can't deny. You know, your food is going to be on your mind. I will use the $100,000 as my leisure money, set aside 15% for savings. You know, In-N-Out burgers.
Financially
That's a good one.
responsible. Well,
Yeah, if you're in that financial responsibility zone, then I respect you. Good job. You're the adult here. Have
that
you
makes
ever,
one of us. Buy something crazy and waste the money immediately.
Oh goodness. All right, so let's run through some of those results. Day 2
But
here.
this is a second sweep, right? Second sweep of the
Oh, yeah.
Grand Slam.
Second
Wow.
sweep, Dos Santos. Yep, he's earning his keep. I mean, here's a question: how much confidence do these 2 victories? Oh wow, yeah. How much confidence do these victories bring? You know, from the Grand Slam track in a non-monetary sense to the World Champs, or you know, to your nationals, or to the Diamond League final? Like, I wonder how many of these athletes are going to be making appearances on the other big stages throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a few. Some of them have stated how they're just prioritizing Grand Slam. But for those, when you're coming out to whether it is the Diamond League or, your World Championships, I mean, I feel that your fitness has to be, or you have to be feeling at an all-time high. Like you're going up against, for many of these people, the world's fastest. Like that's what it's branded as, and that's what it is. So I feel that you have to be confident because it's like, hey, I'm going to see these people in September. I'm going to see these people during championship season. And if you can go into those races and you're like, hey, I beat them 4 times in a row, where do you think your confidence would be? Obviously that'd be great,
Yeah.
but
Be
vice
high.
versa, it could be terrible if you lose,
Yeah, true. It's a high risk, high reward event, I suppose. But speaking of the events, we got the women's 5,000 meters coming up next, and I am expecting a tactical race. I mean, who wouldn't? It's hot, it's sunny. These are very quick athletes. You've got some 14:30s runners. Elise Craney's run a 14:33. Agnes Ngedic a 14:37, I believe. Some quick runners here, and let's not forget Ejgai Hutaye. She has run, I believe it's like a 14. I mean, she's low 14s. Yeah, 14:12, number 8 all time. So I doubt we're going to see super impressive just overall performances, but it's likely we could see another tactical opening, 3 or 4 kilometers, followed by a blistering finish. So this is going to be a different kind of race from the sprints we've seen. I think we're going to see a lot of biding of time. We're going to see a lot of patience executed. However, Ngedic has been known to take the lead and take the bull by the horns and just go for it. That's what she's done on the roads. She's a 28:46 10K runner, which is just bonkers. She's a 63-minute half marathoner. Wouldn't surprise me if she just went for it. And speaking of that, let's take a look at what the standings were yesterday on the long distance on the women's side. So Ngedic finished second, 8:28 3,000, which for Jamaica is impressive. And she's going to be up against Taye. I feel pretty confident those are going to be your top performers here because they both went 8:28 and third place was 8:38. I think this is going to be a competitive showdown for that 100K finish. And I mean, I don't even know what times to pick here to go for because, if we're under 15 on a hot day like this, that would be very impressive. So why don't we do an under over? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I need to end the other one, but yeah, what do you think, Colin? While I get that poll up.
Yeah. Ask me over under for a 5K.
On a hot day.
Louise. On a hot day. I mean, just
You're
seeing
not the distance specialist.
Yeah, so this is coming at where this line could be excellent or more likely terrible. I'm going to put it right at 14.
14. Oh, yeah. Okay, go on.
14:59.
Oh, interesting. Not a 15 flat line. That would make logical
no.
sense. You're going 14:59. All right.
Yeah, 14:59.
14:59
to be exact is going to be the line. That's gonna
Okay,
be the line.
yeah. I mean, I already put the poll in, so you're a few seconds late, but that's just my bad. That's just my bad.
Yeah, you're good. Let's see. What line did you put in there? Let me see what I
I got
get.
15:30. I just went with my
15:30?
gut. Went with my gut,
There
I
you
mean,
go.
look at these PRs here. These are all under 15 minutes, which again, that comes with likely pacing and or a championship race where there's a leader taking up the pace. I mean, these are some of the top 5,000 runners of all time. Taye is ranked 8th all time. You've got a 14:18 in here. I mean, to get under 15, you're running 450 miles, 448s, I believe. And so I'm just, these are very, very elite distance runners, and I come from a distance background. Never got close to these personal records. Leave your PRs in the comments if you're from a distance background. What's your 5,000 meter PB? Let's find who the fastest is in the comments. No lying. I'll know if you're lying. Is anyone
There's
under
one place where everyone's
13:30?
truthful. It's the internet.
That's true. I found a lot of really reliable resources from the internet, which I mean that's actually true. What's the classic joke? There's no lies and there's no restrictions. So yeah.
What would you say of all the distance running events? If you had a power rank your favorite distance running events, let's say with the current field of athletes, what would they be as of right now?
And that's a good question. As we get started here, we'll see what the pace is looking like over the opening 4. But no surprise, and Gedich is in the lead, but it is quickly evolving as a tactical affair. So we'll stay tuned for the next 14, 15, maybe even 16 minutes. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so I guess for distance, we'll consider 1,500 meters and up a distance race, even though 15 is middle distance for the most part. I mean, the 15 is extremely exciting. That's just the classic middle distance event that brings out a lot of eyes. There's a lot of great names right now. There's your Jakob, your Cole Hawker, Yard, Nagoose, Josh Kerr. There's a lot of people competing. And on the women's side, you've got the GOAT right now in Faith Kipyegon. So it's kind of hard to beat the 1,500 right now, but I definitely have a soft spot in my heart for the 5,000 and 10,000. Those were the events that I ran a lot of. And I'm a huge Bekele fan. I feel like a lot of people probably know this. Kenenisa Bekele, to be exact. And he was one of my first real, I guess, running icon idols that I looked up to when I was younger. And GOAT finish in the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, very memorable for me. What's your favorite distance event, chat? I'm curious. Anything above 1,500. And we can go ultra marathon. We can follow up. So, little update. We do have what we thought might happen. Taye is tucking in, and I do believe this is Gedich taking the lead. So she's going to go for broke here. This could be an early pull away, and this is a risky tactic for distance running. You can separate from the field, but if you're running alone, you're completely isolated. You're wasting, potentially wasting extra energy, and you're kind of throwing caution to the wind. And I do think Gedich has that endurance to last. Taye's got a superior 5,000 PR, but yeah, this is going to be interesting because she is going for it. So this is probably going to be, potentially faster than 15:30. Let's listen to the track sounds for a moment. We'll be right
year of track. She's done brilliantly on the roads and now wants to kind of convert that to come back on the track and start producing similar times and similar performances.
Well, this is important. The Grand Slam Tour was important to her. So, yeah, you step away from the roads, get back to the track. It's like a mini-series that they're going to do here. Then maybe rest up a little bit and get going again for the World Championship. So this is really setting her up for a really great track season, I think, with the Grand Slam Track Tour. But look at how hard she's pushing. We have this Sige Gebrselassie, who's now in Boulder in Colorado in the States training. And her coach, Kelsey Quinn, said she is...
So... clearly, Gedich is going for that early victory, and she's going for that 100,000, and I respect the move. You got to respect a bold move like that.
Yeah, I think trying to separate yourself early on, put the pressure on, it's a strategy that, it's high risk, high reward, because we've seen it a few times where people get out insanely fast and then just get roped right back in, and they fall all the way to the back. But if you trust in your fitness and your training and where you're at right now, go for it, and then push the pace and make everyone follow you.
And we see an opening kilometer of 2:59, so we're under 15-minute pace. I would imagine Gedich can do a tempo run with her in the lead, a time trial, if you will, under 15 minutes, even in the sweltering heat like Jamaica. So there's a real chance that she could hold on to this, but you can see Taye just staying close, not letting her get too far away, staying calm and relaxed. That's what you have to do if you're hoping to run someone down by the end. But, in a race like this with just 8 competitors, you could find yourself in no man's land. So if you're even in second, you don't really have a benefit over someone at first. You might have to try and close that gap, and it seems like she's trying to do that. So, but in Gedich, she's rattling off 67, 68-second quarters. She's just going to crank. She's got her head down. She's just pushing the pace. And she's got a 2.5-second gap over second. So that's a little increase from the last 400. So 407 through 1400, she'll be probably right around 440, 445 through the mile. Impressive solo running from
Gedich. I had
Gedich.
a great line.
Yeah, exactly. You were actually right on that. The perfect 15. She might be on 14:59.5 pace right now.
That'd be incredible.
Let's get some Ethiopian and Kenyan flags in the chat. I know we got them. And here we got another drone catch. Shout out to these camera operators. Each time we have a thumbs up that they've executed it perfectly. I respect it. I really do. Yeah, Taye is not letting her get too far away. She can't. And this is interesting because Taye finished first yesterday with Gedich in second. What happens if Gedich wins and Taye finishes second? Do they tie for the lead?
That is an excellent question that I've been wondering and kept me up all night last night.
Yeah, you
I
texted me
think
at
if
4
I
a.m.
had to
and said, I can't
guess,
sleep, bro.
exactly, like the chat was going crazy. Well, so this is what I would think, because it's 100K if you win, it's 50K if you come in second, right?
hmm
So what I'm thinking they would do is they would take that $150,000 and then divide it in half. So then both of them would get, what is that, $75,000, and then the third place would get the third place money. That's what I would think would happen if I had a guess.
I actually might have an answer to this because I'm seeing on Grand Slam Track's page for the events that have finished in total. Is there a total time that they've added together? Because if they take
Yeah, I
total
see that. There's
time,
something.
that would make that would sort of answer the question. And I think it's splitting the prize purse would be, great. Both athletes would be like, okay, I'd rather have 75 than 50, or however they might break it down. But if they do combine the times together, getting confirmation on that, I don't know if that's true or not. But if they do it by total amount of time instead of just placement, then we're talking, the 5,000 could allow for Ngedic to jump up to that first place position. We'll confirm as that goes along, but Taye is staying close to Ngedic. This is exciting. Taye is not letting her go, and Ngedic is not slowing down, and we're under 15-minute pace for 5,000 right now. What's the fastest 5,000 time ever run in Jamaica for the women? Because we definitely did not see it last night with the men as they ran 14. Was it 30? Granted, they closed in 51, which is pretty wild, but we're on a pretty competitive pace right now. So yeah, she's closed the gap by about 2 seconds through 2,400 meters. 1.86 seconds. She was over 3.5 seconds ahead. Now it's been shrunk down to about half. What an effort.
So it seems like she might start to realize, oh, this pace might be, she's not gonna fold from this. I'm not gonna come back and reel her back in. So like, hey, let me speed things up a bit and apply the pressure. I'm sure she'll probably see. I guess there's no like jumbotron in Kingston where she might be able to see, her getting closer and closer. But those footsteps will start getting louder and louder, and the crowd will let her know that they're on their back, and it'll become an exciting race at the end of this, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're getting some comments about how they actually do the scores. It's the dominant score distance to the mean time of the field. I'm not entirely sure what that means.
All right,
2K
this sounds
split.
like Algebra 2. I did not do too great in that class, so I'm just gonna act like I understand it and
It's
say,
a
yes,
Pythagorean
that sounds
theorem, bro. I mean, it's the basics of the triangles. But look at Taye staying right behind her. She's tucking in. Now that she's made contact, more or less, she's got a big advantage. She's stalking her prey, as they say. She's gathering some energy. She's letting Ngedic break the wind. That's exactly what you have to do if you want to catch someone pushing to the front like that. You need to take your time, not accelerate too fast. This
What do you
is.
think the feeling is? Sorry.
Go ahead. What feeling?
I was
What
gonna
feeling
say,
we got?
if you're up front, so like you get out, like a rocket, you're winning leading by this entire thing, and then now you hear footsteps. Now you hear people right on your back. What is that feeling right now as being in front? Like, what do you think that's got to be like? Of, man, I separated myself, and I'm sure she's starting to feel that fatigue probably a little bit more than the person behind you, and she's the one that won, yesterday. So,
Yeah, the feeling is it's pretty awful. Pretty awful. It's just a bad feeling. Because her strategy clearly was push, break Taye early, and you can see she's trying to get Taye to take the lead, and she's out almost in lane 2, but Taye is not taking the lead, which, strategies at this point is to stay behind and kick at the end. I can tell you firsthand, if you go for the lead and someone catches you, it's completely demoralizing. But sometimes you do make the effort to slow down intentionally so that you're not just completely broken with a full kilometer to go. It depends on how she's feeling, but again, that sweltering heat in Jamaica has got to be killer. But I believe she went through 3K in 8:55, 8:56, something like that. So she did slow down. There was a 3-minute, 5-second previous kilometer. So, and it doesn't look like they're holding on that pace. So we could see something right at 15 minutes. Colin, if they run a 14:59.5, I'm just going to consider you a distance genius. In fact, that lap right there was really slow. So that was like a 75-second lap. You know, they're clearly fatigued by the sun. They've got, is it 4 laps remaining, I believe. This is going to be a pretty difficult finish. I'm confident they're just trying to bide their energy, not crash. And I mean, I haven't seen anyone else even in the camera for the past 5 minutes. So they have massive leads, and looks like Get It just deciding, you know what? I'm going for it a little bit more. She's accelerating a little bit. Only the fastest, right, Colin?
Only the fastest. Elite ball knowledge when it comes to my picks for distance running. So great to see that. But yeah, I mean, I can imagine it, it's become a 2-horse show right now, and I mean, this competition, I'm sure we'll see a pretty fast closing lap here, as they might try to slow things down for these next, what is it? There's probably 3 laps left.
I think we got 3 laps left right here. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 laps left. So I'm sure we might see, like, this is probably the beginning of the kick to see if she's, see who's got it. And it looks like a move is about to be made, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how these tactics are going to unfold. And I want to point to the chat. These are the smartest athletes, or smartest track and field fans in the world. You got to think that, so Ngedich is Kenyan, Tai is Ethiopian. They're used to the heat. They are used to a lot of heat and humidity. It's probably not completely the same as Jamaica, especially at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. That sun is directly over your head, and it's going to be suffocating. But if there's anyone that's going to be able to endure these elements, it's these 2 ladies. And I think that we are going to see a blistering finish. Who knows what they're thinking, though? I think we need to get some water stations at the 200-meter marks for the 5,000 meters on the men's and women's side. They actually do put that there for 10,000 meters during a lot of world champs. But, I mean, 5,000 and 10,000... both very long events, and I don't want to see anyone get heat stroke out here.
And of the people. He's not just total running productions; he's total water productions as well.
Yes.
Gotta love it.
H2O is our friend, and we have seen some issues. Kenenisa Bekele, a long time ago, shout out to Ethiopia, he was not able to finish, I believe, the 2008 World Championships for cross country in Kenya because it was literally so hot, around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. His mind and body just crashed. So this is definitely on the hotter side of running, as we see another great drone catch from our camera operators. But let's talk about the placement of these two runners here. And Gedich has been hoping Tai would take the lead just on the outside, and it hasn't happened for about 1,200 meters.
He's been running more, like, I'm thinking this is not going to be a great strategy. Tai should obviously win this because, I mean, she's running a pretty significant amount less because she's on the outside of this lane. I'm sure she's probably by this point ran an extra 10, over the course of this entire race, maybe an extra 10, 15 meters just by being on the outside of this lane, hoping for her to overtake her. And so I think Tai kind of knows that, hey, this is going to be my race to win. When do I want to crank it up? Because there's no way that she's going to be able to have that amount of speed and endurance towards the tail end here, given that she's been on the outside hoping for someone to kind of take the reins.
Yeah, and we just hit 1 lap to go, 13:49. Let's head to the track for the sights and sounds.
The result of the 3,000. She's run so many meters more than Taya by running on the outside of a lane, and Taya this time is thinking, I'm not hanging around here, just winding you up. This isn't the big kick yet. This isn't the put your foot down. This isn't the change in the gears. That's why Ngatich is just hanging in there. Taya just wanting to set this up for herself.
Taya looks to be getting ready to have that final push, but Ngatich is trying to move a little bit to the inside. I would say get on the outside, and there she lets her in on the inside.
Well, Taya was doing what you always do, was kind of going, well, you're going to have to run wide, but that little push there, she wasn't ready to start, but that was like the motor being fired up there. Ejigate into the home straight. She did this in the 3,000, but not quite to this effect.
I think she'll be a little
this
under,
time
but
it's
man,
going to be
good call.
a significant victory. Charging down the home straight has put a lot of distance
what a
between herself
strategy.
and Ngatich. Taye is going to win both races in the long distance. She's the slam champion, and Ngatich again has to settle for second place.
Yeah, we got another double winner. Ty wins the $100,000. What a race. And Gedich pushed the pace early. Ty brought her back in and came through 14:54.88. And Gedich just outside of Colin's prediction, 14:59.8. I mean, you got to look at the weather and think, if it's not 27 degrees Celsius, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, these ladies could go 20, 30 seconds faster with a little bit more just comfort in the heat and weather. But regardless, what a fun 5,000 to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nail biter, that close race the entire time. Strong competition. It wasn't just a runaway. That's been the theme here with Grand Slam track. I mean, the fact that you're getting the best of the best in each event, you're not seeing very many blowouts, which makes for a compelling race, which makes for an exciting competition. Sure, we saw the women's 400-meter hurdles, which, I mean, that's just going to happen whenever you have Sydney McLaughlin running it. But other than that, it's been very close competitions for the most part, and makes for a compelling watch, and for more reason for a non-track athlete to get more interested in it. Of, hey, I don't care that I may not know anything about the 5K, or, I don't care that the women's hurdlers are running the 100. It's a compelling race. It's an exciting one, which makes for good competition.
And we are getting word that's the fastest women's 5,000 ever on Jamaican soil. We'll look to confirm that, but I wouldn't doubt it because this is the sprint capital of the world. Now, there are great distance runners that come out of here, but a 14:54 on a hot, humid day, that's impressive. So congrats to Agnes and Gedich and Taye for taking the $100,000. I was wrong about the prediction. They ran a lot faster than I thought they would, but I was also looking a little bit towards that men's 5,000 last night. A much slower time and a crazy finish, and we're already moving on to our next event, the men's short hurdles. Not the 110 hurdles, but the open 100. This one I'm very excited to see because I've always been curious what these athletes can do in an open 100. They've done some decent times, but today they're going to throw down.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm the one name that I just keep coming back to that I'm most excited. I really want to see, how Omar McLeod does here. Like, he's got the fastest PR in the field. We know what he's done, and can he get back to those days? Can he get back to those crazy, those really great times? And I mean, Dylan Beard, like, this is life-changing amounts of money for a guy that is, still working his day job. This can give him the confidence to do this full time now. Like, hey, I've got, $100,000. Like, you potentially get a shoe contract out of this. You still have that Walmart potential contract that you have. You've won
keep
this
the
big amount of
Walmart.
money.
Keep the Walmart and have Walmart make their own custom track spikes. That's the dream. You got to bring the supermarkets in.
Spikes.
Shaq shoes.
Yeah.
What would be the dream collaboration for like a non sort of track company making, like the connections to track and field and bringing out some spikes?
My favorite one that has happened that we need to bring back, and I mean, it's, shout out Matt Centrowitz. He did it, was the Jordan collaboration.
The Jordan collab. That was his jersey, right?
Yeah, his jersey. I think they also had like a very, very limited edition spike. I remember, I think it was red and green. Chat, you want to take a look at that? I'm pretty confident that they had, like, it wasn't for sale, but they had something like that. So I think that would be a pretty cool, collaboration to bring back again. If we could get something like that.
So shout out to Freddie Crittenton. We got looks like a friend or someone very familiar with him. Has a day job as well, new wife and kid. Freddie Crittenton going to be bringing back some fat stacks too. But, the story, I think just from your comments, the story is Dylan Beard. He won yesterday's 110 hurdles. You got to think he's going to bring some confidence to this race. If he can get first, he's secured it, obviously. But if he's second or third, I mean, we could see an amazing day today.
Yeah. This is, where did they finish? So yesterday, let's see. So for the short hurdles for the men.
So you had Dylan Beard first.
Dylan Beard, Sasha, and then Freddie.
Freddie. So Freddie's third, Daniel Robertson fourth, Cordell Tinch in fifth. McLeod was sixth. But again, the minimum payday is $10,000. That's you gotta. It just warms your soul to know these athletes are getting paid for their efforts and coming out and putting on a show and all the training they do and all of the sacrifices they've made to just be in the sport in the first place is being rewarded financially.
What's your prediction and what's your over under? What do you got here?
I feel like I've gone a little too quick each time. You know, I did except for the women's 5,000, they shut me up quickly. Shout out to Taye and Ngedich, but I'm gonna put in a surprise number. So stay tuned. Check the polls. It's coming. Start a poll. Let's do. All right. I'm going over under 10.3. And the reason I'm going this is because I thought that, sure, the men were going to get under 10, but it didn't happen. They were at 10.07 for the win with Bednarik, and they were, I believe, Oblique Seville was just behind in 10.09. So that was about a tenth or two above what I thought would happen. And I'm going to go a tenth or two above what potentially these guys could have run. 10.2, 10.1 at their best. Early season, hot day. They ran yesterday. Let's see what we got. Yeah, we got most people agreeing they're going to go under 10.3.
What was that Mondo ran his 100 in?
10.37. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, they better be. I mean, Mondo is fast. He's
that's
really
wild.
like that's what people highly. I mean, you got it when you're a world record holder in the pole vault. You have to have that type of speed. Like the amount of energy he's putting into those poles is incredible. So, and that was also during right in the middle of this championship season when he was probably at his absolute fastest versus right now. So it wouldn't be too surprised if it's right around that kind of time frame here.
You got a lot of people throwing in their guesses. We got 10.38 for the winner, 10.18, 10.6. Man, we got a big spread. The human calculator, imagine 11 seconds. That's not going to happen. These guys are...
If I'm beating any of these men, that would be ridiculous.
All right, what's your 100 PR?
11-1.
11-1. Hey, that's impressive.
School. Yeah.
We're talking Colin's got some legs here, ladies and gentlemen. I never ran the open 100, but I was always middle long distance guy.
It's crazy. I actually have a World Athletics account. You can see my pole vaulting stats. I think I was top 500 in the world or something like that.
Put it in the chat. Let's do this.
Let me see. Where is it? Colin Waits. It was either top 5,000 or top 500. I know.
Okay, now we're getting. Oh wow, Omar McLeod. Oh, send it in.
Yeah, it's
all right, let's head to the track while we look this up.
McLeod, who's the fastest PB, but it's been a while.
Yes, and he's the Rio Olympic champion at 110 hurdles, and he's in front of his home crowd here.
There's Dylan Bird, now coached by Nat Page, has been since September, and he won the hurdle race.
And he was smart. He ran the 1 and the 100-meter hurdles double down at the Florida State Relays to prepare for today.
Tallahassee guy, so he's back home. Eric Edwards, 7th in the race of the actual hurdle race. Went to LSU, ran down there for Dennis Shaver and that group in Baton Rouge. Here's O'Freddy, who's quiet at the moment.
We heard so much from him in that piece. It was great. He was 6th in the Olympic finals. He's 30 now, and he's really been rounding into shape. He has a lot of experience there standing on that start line.
Yep, came in 3rd in the hurdle race. And there's his boy right next to Sasha Zoya.
Who was 2nd in the hurdles race. He's the 3-time French champion. A 10:41 PB, a respectable 100-meter PB, so he should be in
So McLeod has gone under 10 seconds, which is amazing. I can't imagine there's been too many hurdlers that have ever broken that barrier. But again, these other PRs, I would imagine they're from a few years ago, maybe even back to pre-pandemic times, but potentially we'll see some PRs today. I cannot imagine anyone's going sub 10, but over under 10.3. Over under 10.3. Leave your thoughts. Hey, you said no shot to Dream Richards losing, so somehow now someone's going sub 10.
Fool me once, shame on me. If someone goes to sub 10.10 or sub 10.0, I would lose it.
That would be remarkable.
Right to the 100. It would drop the hurdles and become a 100-meter runner.
They should, but let's head to the
I think those 12 points are pretty much gone.
Well, there's our three racers in the middle. That's Roberts on the left there, right in the middle. Sasha Joya, the Frenchman, born in Australia. Freddie Crittenden of USA, but in the blue, in lane 2, Dylan Beard, the slam leader at the moment. Omar McLeod over on the far side in lane 1.
100 meters is usually just for fun for these guys, but when there's this kind of money on the line, it gets a bit more serious.
Set.
Joya got a pretty good start, so did Beard as well, going well enough right on the far side. Omar McLeod is there, but look at Joya in the middle. This is going to be very tight on the line. Is the Frenchman going to get it? He absolutely does, and it's very close for second because Edwards might have outleaned Dylan Beard, and that could be significant.
That win got it for him.
That was a sensational performance. 10:55. Given that, we weren't sure about his ability.
Sasha Zoya, Frenchman, $100,000. He's pumped. 10:55.
Wow.
You know, I can't help
You're
but say.
missed out on 100K by .02. I know they're laughing now, but
He's you can see the emotion on the top left, but you know, when your consolation prize is 50,000, I think it's all right. You know, you want the 100,000, but you're getting that 50K or 30K pretty much no matter what if you're competitive after winning the first event. But Zoya, absolutely. Look at the Super Saiyan.
You don't get that excitement in April anywhere else. Unless
No.
you don't get that type of excitement unless there's $100,000. Like the fact that
He just won himself a new car.
Makes it great. Exactly. Yeah. Like this guy's about to put a down payment on a payment, maybe a new necklace. He's gonna get iced out, whatever it is. Who knows? He's gonna go to Johnny Dang. He's gonna get iced out. You know.
Oh
that's how it
man,
works.
that's a great celebration. I want to see those pictures online as Sasha's getting interviewed right now. But yeah, what an interesting dynamic and a close race again. That's great about this. You can see Cornell Tinch and Dylan Beard laughing about winning 50,000 and 30,000. That's this just warms my soul. I've seen so many times there's been great athletes in the past that have to work like a job or two just to be able to compete. And now we're getting next level payments, still working our way up to the big sport payments like basketball, but maybe we'll get there, one step at a time. And Zoya is pumped, man. Look at him working the crowd. This man I can't imagine this was his first real 100 win in years. We got to look this up.
Used to be a decathlete. Fun fact.
Decathlete, yes.
Yeah, back before COVID, when he was in high school, he was a multi-athlete actually. So he's now, obviously just doing the hurdles thing. But like this is once again, it shows that it's not all about the time when you have great competition. Like they ran a 10:55.
Great catch from the drone guy.
Yeah, great catch by the drone guy. We gotta get him on the stream.
Oh yeah, we're gonna need to interview him. He's like Bottle Klaus, but for the GOAT status on
Exactly.
drones. But excuse my
and so
sidetrack.
that's why we for him, the time, when you have a great competition when it's close, there's stuff on the line. It doesn't necessarily matter what they're running. These are times that you would see at a high school dual meet in Texas. This isn't anything crazy, but it's what's on the line for these things. The fact that look at that. He's just barely eking out and getting the victory. That's what makes it fun. And
we
I
are
think
getting
having
confirmation the wind was -2. So 10:55 is probably a tenth and a half behind their actual effort right now. But a win is a win.
But I also this quad, this is where that quad box was great because you got to see the emotion of both Sasha and of Cordell Tinch and Dylan Beard at the same time, where under just a regular normal circumstances, you're only getting one or the other. So you got to kind of see as Sasha is, exuberant in their reactions, and then Dylan Beard kind of having his realization of, oh no, I'm in second place or third. That's where I think this quad box can, there's potential here. I kind of liked it.
So we have confirmation. Sasha wins at 20 points. Dylan Beard in second with 50,000. That's still some great paydays. Cordell Tinch third. Daniel Roberts in fourth. So he'll get what is fourth? 25,000. Still solid. Followed by Freddie Crittenden, Eric Edwards, Omar McLeod, and Orlando Bennett in eighth. So those are your total standings, men's short sprints. Great paydays for everyone. The best payday for Sasha Zoya. You know, there was a performance that Zoya did a few years ago before he became a senior sprinter. I need to
Yeah,
look this
I
up
know what
because
you're
when he
talking
was a
about.
junior, he set one of the
That was his
craziest
U20.
world. Yeah, he set one of the
His
craziest
U20 race. I know exactly.
hurdle
Sorry.
records. It might have been, yeah, it's all good. It was amazing. A 1272. And granted, those are only 99 centimeter hurdles, but world under 20 record, and I believe that was by about 2/10 as we now see the middle distance men hit the track. Nagoose followed by Hawker, unfortunately beardless, still beastly. Kerr wearing the sunglasses appropriately this time. Marco Rope in his red jumpsuit of destiny, and there's Wanyonyi putting the cross on his chest, and man, I can't think Wanyonyi loses. I think he's got to be the 100,000 favorite.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be tough to go out and beat him. But I mean, just like yesterday, crazier things have happened. Like I know an 800, you're not gonna be sitting and kicking necessarily. It's definitely more of an all-out sprint type of deal than the 1500. But all it takes is for things to change change a little bit of pace, and all of a sudden, if you allow Nagoose or Cole Hawker to be hanging around towards the end there, you never know.
No, you don't. But yeah, I'm putting up a poll. We got an over/under 145 for the men's 800 meters. Leave your thoughts. And the reason I went 145 on a hot day after they ran yesterday is because Wanyonyi is relentless. He will go for it. And Marco Rope is going to respond. Last year's Olympic finals, they ran 141.19 and 141.20. Granted, they were in peak fitness at the end of the year. Wasn't quite as hot, but they ran that solo. No pacers. That, besides David Rudish's world record, that whole race was the fastest averaged 800 of all time. I mean, that was just a show-stopping race. And again, Bryce Hoppel in fourth with a 141. Just madness. So, getting confirmation how many actually did break 142 in last year's Olympic Games. But I feel like Wanyonyi is going to have some newfound confidence after yesterday's 1500 win. Hopefully it's not too much. If he takes the lead and tries to push and throw in 141.5, 142 today, it might be a little too soon after that 1500. But if he just runs smart and throws in, a conservative opening 600 followed by a good kick, I think he's going to take the victory.
All right, and then right after this, there's only one more, right? The 400, and then we're done, or is there a couple?
We got
more
men's
races after that?
800.
Oh yeah, the 8. Yes, forgot the 8.
So we have, this is men's 8. Then we got the men's 3000, women's 200, and then women's 400. We got a lot of events still coming up.
We got a lot more track. Jeez, for
We
some
got
reason
some-
I thought we were almost done.
With a smooth stream, this is just like awesome. I mean, fixing those kinks did make a big difference, and I appreciate everyone involved. Creator Sports Network, Peacock, CW, the Jamaican Tourist Association, Colin. Yeah, this is
I did my best. Yeah.
I mean, you're crushing it. Let's see what the polls say. We got most agreeing, yeah, it's going to be sub 145. And we got the athletes in their starting blocks ready for the starting gun. I mean, this is highly anticipated. Man, I think I should have done under 144. We got $100,000 on the line. Let's head to the track for the men's 800
Be a nice
meters.
1v1 matchup against Wanyonyi, but given the fact that the 1500 was a hard race for him yesterday, we'll see how much that's in his legs today.
So right now, yeah, I don't know if they're in the right spot. Marco's in 8. We have him listed as 7, and Hoppel's standing in 7. He was listed as 8. Luckily, they're not hard to tell apart, right? You got the white kit and you got the red kit.
And there you have the American record holder, 141 challenger. It's crazy to think that we have a 141 guy who is a challenger and not even a racer.
So Cole Hawker, Olympic champ at 1500. I just feel like he's feisty and he's willing to compete.
Yeah, I think he would prefer a fast 800 here. He looked a little flat yesterday, but nonetheless, he's a gamer.
Josh Kerr, second in the last Olympics, third before that, got a world champion. Like, he's got all kinds of bona fides. That doesn't know he's got over 2 laps.
He has the ability to be a factor here, but let's hope that yesterday was just busting the rust and maybe he comes out a little more competitive today.
Jared Nagoose was second in that 1500, which turned out to be a big sprint that Manuel Wagnoni stole, but there's the Goose.
This is my upset pick right here. The Goose is going to be loose today. This guy is hoping for a fast 800.
Listen, you can't set a world record in the mile without, going after a little bit. And there,
Yeah, they bring up a good point with Yard and a Goose. I mean, 146 PR is solid, but I don't feel like that really represents his potential, because we've seen him close super fast. He closed very fast yesterday, almost right. He was in front of Hawker, so this could be a good day for him. But a few quick takes here. I think Wanyonyi and a rope are going to be the class of the field 800. Let's let Centrowitz. Previously,
what we missed is Wagnoni out there in 8, and in 3 is A-Rope. We'll see what happens. You'll know by who comes across first. Cram, Gary Tullifson, the call upstairs.
Two laps of the track in the men's 800 meters. It's windy, it's breezy. Will it be fast though? And look at the Canadian already gliding to the front. He might just want to get a feel for what it's like out there. They must know that the wind is in the home straight, but this looks as though Arup has decided to lead this one. Not sure how quick he's going to go. We'll watch for the time through the first 200 meters. It's fairly quick there, round about 25 flat there, thereabouts, Carrie.
You can see all the 1,500-meter guys sort of in the back of the pack here, hoping to close that gap in. But Marco Arup, he's so tall. He's such a strong guy. Not surprised to see him get out of the way and get up front. We know he can run either way, from the back or from the front. But here we go. Wanyoni closing that up. And I think this is just going to be a show between these two. They went 1 and 2 at the Olympic Games. Let's see what happens.
52 at the front, and that's not that quick actually by their standards. I think that was all about the wind, but they do have a gap on the rest of the field. The guys haven't gone with this at all. It's the 3 800-meter specialists, with the exception of Ataui, who's completely lost in the pack behind. The 15 lads will charge, there's no doubt about that. Wanyonyi's not going to wait for them though, and Arup has to try and hold him off, and he does. He wants to hold the curve, make Wanyonyi run wide. These two are so far ahead of everybody else. Ataui is beginning to get going and is reeling in. Bryce Hoppel perhaps for third, but they're so far back, and look at Arup, he's gone again. Wanyonyi 2-3 meters behind. Has the Canadian done this well? Has he got the tactics right? It looks as though he has. That 1500 must still be in the Kenyan's legs, because Arup is striding away. They're all charging too far back. Arup's going to win this one by a country mile. 1:45.1. Wanyonyi, then Hoppel, then Gourley, then Hocker, then the Goose, Ataui, and a tired Josh Kerr at the back.
Well, I gave you a little bit of a nudge, because those guys were closing hard behind Wanyonyi.
5 points, 8, 9.
a rope with a pretty solid victory. Took it out hard.
Yeah, so
8.
Marco Arup might be second now. I think Marco Arup just moved himself up from 6th to 2nd because of that win. Because I think he got 12 points plus the 3 that he had before. That's 15. Yared Naguse had 8, and he just got, what, 5, I believe it was? So
It was hard to tell. They came across so fast.
So I think he might have just moved himself into 2nd place.
That would take him from, what,
not a great
15, 20K to 50K. Yeah, I mean, definitely a little underwhelming on the side of times. But again, it's hot. These guys ran a super competitive 1500 last night. I mean, clearly Wanyonyi's tired. When's the last time he did a double like this in 2 days? But confidently saying Wanyonyi took the 100,000. He got 2nd place here in the 800. Won yesterday's 15, so he's coming away with 100K. Amazing. But we're going to get confirmation on where everyone else is falling, because this was definitely an anticipated race. Still looking for those results to be published. But yeah, I think Naguse definitely is favored well. He's probably going to be 3rd or 4th overall. I'm not sure. I am completely clueless on where these standings are in total. So Wanyonyi's coming away rich, and just outside of 145. You would think that, on a normal day, after not running a 1500, not so hot, they're going to go 144, sub 144 pretty easily. But the tactics are definitely a part of a non-paced race, even as low down as 800. So.
To Marco, he did brilliantly well. Wanyonyi with 8, Hoppel 6, Gourley 5. He had 2 4th places for the Scot, and Hocker, Naguse, the other 1500 guys, just finding that one a bit
All
of a
right,
struggle.
so we have confirmation. Wanyonyi takes 1st, 20 total points, pretty dominant. Second place is Marco Arope. So he went from, I believe he was sixth.
so.
Yeah, there it is. Nagoose in third, 30,000. Neil Gorley with 10, ties with Cole Hawker. So yes, they do the total times. You can see right here. Total times. Neil Gorley got the same points as Cole, but Cole had slightly more total time. I mean, fair to some degree. The longer racing distances are going to provide for a little more of a gap. But, I mean, a tiebreaker is a tiebreaker, and, you know, one race better in a certain distance.
What's the second challenger to win, right?
Oh, Wanyani is a challenger. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So Wanyani, challenger, Arope, one of the racers, gets second. So he went 339 and 145 to take his 15-point total. And now we've got the men's 3,000 entering, but we'll run through these a little more here. So overall, Wanyani in first, Marco Arope, Yard Nagoose, Cole Hawker, Neil Gorley, Bryce Hoppel, Josh Kerr in seventh, and Mohamed Atawi from Spain in eighth. So yeah, I mean, one of the more anticipated and interesting groupings, I would say, because it's got so much 800 and 1,500 talent, and I don't think many would have seen Wanyani and Arope going 1-2. Maybe one of them getting in the top three, but the 800 guys proving they got strength too. What a cool race. That was fun.
Now, I'm trying to think as a fan though, because I mean, the 1,500 meter was kind of close, but I think next Grand Slam, the 1,500 meter runners are going to figure out that they need to do exactly what the 800 meter runners just did to them, and that's leave them in the dust. Like, because I think like it was a tale of two cities. There were two different races going on there, which I don't know. Like with the other races that we've seen, it's been closer. Like, you know, with the 100 and all of that, we've seen some close races. But with that, it's just whichever you were specialist in was where you were winning, and it was just, you know, I don't know. I think there could be some potential tweaks, updates, and changes that things could make to have that a little, you know, because it was interesting how it kind of went that way.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a big response in the following meets of the tactics that come out, because clearly the 1,500 guys are going to know they have to run faster to secure their win over, you know, speedier 800 guys or just, you know, runners with solid kicks. So I would imagine we're going to close in on 332, maybe even 331 for ensuing 800 races. But let's move on to the next race, which is the men's 3,000 meters. This is the long distance grouping. So you've got some crazy talent again. World record holder indoors, Grant Fisher, looking to pull off 100,000. You've got Agos Geberwit, 12:36 5,000 runner, sub 7:30 guy. Tilahun Bekele, recent 10,000 legend from the Big Ten. Ronald Quemoy, an absolutely stellar Kenyan runner. I believe he still holds the world junior record for the 1,500. Thierry Ndugumunyayo from Spain. There's Cooper Tier, who closed like a train yesterday, and Dylan Jacobs did as well. Dylan Jacobs, Cooper Tier, and Grant Fisher went 1, 2, 3 yesterday. Then you've got the Canadian Charles Philibert. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Thibodeau. Actually, I feel like I kind of crushed that. Thibodeau. So yeah, I mean, U.S. is looking to throw in solid 1, 2, 3 again. Want to bring home some prize purses. I'm thinking that Grant Fisher has got to be a favorite. But let's listen to the call from Centrowitz.
The Olympic Games in both the 5 and the 10, world indoor marks at the 3 and 5 this season. There's Cooper Tier, still trying to find his way.
Oh yeah, let's not forget that Grant Fisher won the bronze in the Olympics last year in the 5,000.
I'm looking for something similar right now in this 5K as well.
Charles Thibodeau, 8th in that 5,000, which Matthew would have been 7th at least in that 5,000.
He's been here all week waiting for a spot in the short and long distance. Got to give it up to him.
He's there, he's got it. Dylan Jacobs came in 3rd, closed in 52 in his final 400.
I think, you know, a sleeper pick there if it ends up being slow again, which I hope the Ethiopians don't allow. He's
one of those Notre Dame leprechauns, but in volunteer orange. Ronald Quemoy, Olympic silver medalist, at 5K.
You know, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, but...
Dukumanayo.
There we go.
Dukumanayo.
Thierry, this man has one of the fastest 3Ks in the field. I'd like to see him actually get after it a little bit. And then this guy is essentially the world record holder in the 5K, only a few seconds off of it. I think him and his fellow countrymen might have had a conversation and said, clearly these tactical races aren't for us.
Agos Gebriot right there, age 30. He is ready to go. He got a bronze medal from the Rio Games in the 5,000. Steve Cram, Kerry Tillotson will call this for you.
Will it be slow again? Or will somebody take this on?
All right, let's see how the tactics unfold. First lap is going to tell us a lot about this race, and Bekele is not having it. Going for it. You got to respect it. He knows he's strong. Ran that 26.52 in the 10K after being 100 meters behind at the start. Yeah, he's not playing games. He's not playing games.
Could we see the same thing that happened in the women's race just earlier, where you go out too fast and then just eventually get reeled in, and all of a sudden you're no longer at the front? So I mean, it can be an interesting strategy. Like, will it be the same or will it be a little different? It looks like we do have a challenger coming up there, so he won't be running alone.
Yeah, I think the men's distance events, though, are a lot more balanced. There's a lot more class towards the top, and this is a risky move. You know, Gebriwet's very seasoned veteran, 12:36 5,000, 7:30 3K. I thought he was under 7:30, but he's looking to move in front of Bekele. This is, I mean, I feel like this is they're getting a little zesty pretty early, unless they talked. You know, they're both Ethiopian. They're both saying, let's do the Frank Shorter, Steve Prefontaine. Let's exchange leads every lap or something. Like, there could be some genuine national strategy here. But you've got everyone else about 10, 15 meters behind, and I'm not sure what the split times are here. We're missing the clock, but hopefully that'll be brought up in a few minutes, or a few seconds rather. But it does look like they're going maybe 60, 61 seconds per lap. I think that the chase back is just banking on the hope that the heat's going to get to them. And I feel like more times than not, you're going to have the chase group catch the front pacers, catch the front athletes, but there could be some genuine strategy here that takes them to the lead. We'll see. Yeah, they're changing. You don't see this too often, but this is clearly premeditated. Oh man, I love this. I love this so much. This is Ethiopia versus the world. Bekele, Gebriwet versus everyone else. So we're at 2:13 through the first, maybe about 2:08, 2:07 through the first 800. Nothing too fast, but the gap is massive. Oh wait, actually it's quicker than that? You said 7:27 pace? I mean, if that's the case, then dang. Okay, 7:38 pace? Yeah, that'd be a lot more. That makes sense.
These guys have gone off at a pretty good lick through the first 1,000 meters. They're running around about 7:45 pace or something.
7:45 pace. Okay, that makes sense. The splits didn't look like they were under 7:30, and they're still putting gaps on the second group though. Like, this is a huge gap. This is way more than. I mean, I suppose it's about what we saw in the women's 5,000, and they're exchanging again.
50 meters?
I mean, this is at least 50 meters already. I don't know if they're going to be caught. They got to start moving right now. Grant Fisher's got to be thinking about his prize purse, but it is important to say that Gebriwet and Bekele in the 5,000 were 4th and 7th. So the three Americans, Fisher, Tier, and Jacobs, you know, if they do get third, if Fisher gets third, then the math here, I'm not so familiar with the event lineup yet that I can do the math already, but it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
But he can't afford to come fourth, because if Gebriwet wins this, then we're in a tie.
It looks like Bekele might have told Gebriwet, I'll take you through the first K and K and a half. If you're feeling good, go for it. But yeah, he's got to be 60 meters ahead already, pushing 70. It's a massive lead. Goodness. Yeah, he's not messing. Oh, here comes the drone with the catch. Give the thumbs up. Absolutely flawless.
That might have been the highlight right there. That was the closest race we had for this 5K.
Okay, it's hard to tell exactly how far behind they are, but this is another advantage of the quad box. It's growing on me. It really is. You get to see the distance between Gebriwet and Bekele, and then following behind Bekele, way behind, is the chase pack.
It's
I
100
mean,
meters by now.
yeah, this is a 100-meter gap, like right around there. This is going to be very challenging to close. I don't know if they can do it, but again, it might not matter.
Now they should be having like one of these cameras on the second that backpack, because we know like these are the top two guys. These are the teams
Yeah.
that are going to win, and the rest of the point, because Grant Fisher's the winner right now. He's leading
Yeah.
in the and everything, and so it's going to be important to say, hey, this backpack is the back six competitors. In order to win this, Grant's going to have to finish at here, or Cooper Tier's going to have to do this, or this is like, I think there's some other storylines we could get into of like, hey, let's see this backpack, because like these are, the race is over for these two. Let's see what else can happen amongst the rest of the remaining competitors right now.
Yeah, I just, aside from someone dropping a 140 final 800, I don't think it's possible to catch Geberwitt here. We're coming up on 800 to go, and he literally has, let's see if we can see in the top left the gap. I mean, it's 100, 110 meters now. So the race is over for first. Geberwitt is very likely going to take the win, but can anyone catch Talehun Bekele in second place? Looks like we're still on 745 to 750 pace.
Super fun to watch him out there all alone, tackling on such a great field, but one that I don't think he realizes how far.
Yeah, this
he's
gap is
actually
not something you
behind
see
him.
every day in a race like this.
Well, he is absolutely flying. He's been running 61s for the last
So
three
we're,
laps
I mean,
pretty much.
Jamaica right now is still 27 degrees Celsius, 80, 85 degrees Fahrenheit.
Losing 3-4 seconds every
So
lap. That doesn't matter.
that plays a
That's all
factor
about
in people's decisions on what they're going to do. And now he's so far gone that it's not even worth trying to catch him, I would say. And he's going to win this race. 6:17 with a lap and a half to go, so he'll probably be 7:45, 7:50. Yeah, there's no reason to close, so maybe 7:50 to 8. Not the fastest 3K, but we're getting into the weeds of how these races unfold and how people are going to race and how they value the placements.
If they swapped you in right now, do you think you would hold on to this lead?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah?
I could run a 60 quarter. No one's going to catch that, but
Like
But
right,
Bekele,
like, how many laps do you think you would have to? How far out would be? Okay, I can't hold this.
shoot, man, don't embarrass me in front of everyone.
600 meters, maybe.
600, you might be onto something. 600, 800, depending on the freshness. Yeah, but Geberwitt's just jogging it in. I mean, he's going to move up from fourth to either second or third, and depending upon the placement of Cooper Tier and Dylan Jacobs, he's going to bring home at least 30K, maybe 50K. Let's head back to the track for the finish.
Needs not to be boxed there.
And here they come, Geberwitt coming around the corner. Wow, he had a great race, putting it on sharp in the very beginning, but with 200 to go, the big pack is coming, and Geberwitt giving a big old high and a wave to the crowd as he wins. But oh my goodness, he's got a lot of action coming on behind him. Geberwitt getting ready to finish.
It really is a charge down the line, and look at Grant Fisher. He's got to get third there. Cooper Tier's ahead of him. Quemoy is coming. Is Quemoy going to spoil the party for Grant Fisher? He has to finish third to take the prize. He does it. He gets the slam. There's the slam winner.
So it looks like we're getting confirmation that Fisher's going to get the slam with his third place finish behind both Bekele and the winner Geberwitt up front. So clearly there were tactics at play, and I suppose Grant Fisher realized if he gets third or better, he's going to win. So there was, again, the incentive. It's all about the incentive. Times were completely out the window. I mean, this is one of those moments just based on what happened yesterday that the incentive just wasn't there. So not the most in exciting race time-wise, but it's interesting to see how this is unfolding. I do believe Geberwitt got up for second, so he's bringing home 50K. That's a Diamond League final plus a record time on the payday. Not bad. Bekele's pumped. He might have moved up to either fourth or third. We'll see what happens. I'm going to refresh the page and hope that these results just get populated in a minute. So in the chat, you can look up at the pinned comment, and we've got the results at the top. Yeah, the camera coverage, I honestly, the quad box is growing on me. We're going to do some polls afterwards and ask what you guys liked, but I think before and after the races and maybe a few shots during races, it actually helps to see other angles. Great catch by the camera operator. But that was Geberuet just flexing his dominance endurance-wise, coming away with a huge payday. All right, let's refresh once again. Long distance, men's race, still not up, but it's okay. We'll get there. And Bekele taking an extra victory lap. I guess a second place lap. You know, he figured if he was behind 80 meters for the 10 before the race, he might as well do an extra lap and add an extra 80 meters. It's just part of his race rituals now. You know, shout outs to the Ethiopian flags. I feel like when it comes to races, I see more Ethiopian flags and Jamaican flags than any other country. And St. Lucian flags are making a surgence with Alfred's dominance, so Vuvuzela's crushing the background. Pride. Yeah, look at the wind, though. Let's, not forget the wind is clearly playing a role here. Getting wrapped around Bekele's head, coming down the stretch on the victory here. You know, this is just, again, it's such a positive thing. You see someone this excited for a second-placed finish, for a second race in 2 days because his payday is so great. It's awesome. All right, Fisher with $100,000. I think those results are going to be posted momentarily. So this is, okay, here we go. Fisher wins. Agos Geberuet just barely behind. And Cooper in third. Cooper bring home 30K. Bekele with 20 or 25. Wait, Dylan Jacobs bringing home. I mean, these are all great paydays. And Grant Fisher is just in winning mode in 2025. He didn't technically win this race, but when you look at the Slam champion, that's the goal, right? Mm-hmm. So up next, women's 200 short sprints. Got some big names. Melissa Jefferson, bronze medalist in the 100. We got Daryl Nita, Alana Reed from Jamaica, representing home soil. Jacius Sears, one of the up-and-coming greats, leaving the NCAA with some dominance, but unfortunately got injured after an amazing couple of 100s. Kimba Nelson, Tamara Clark, Jodine Williams, and Jenna Prandini.
All right, this is one that we could potentially see another challenger getting a win here. I mean, Jenna Prandini, she's definitely stronger in the 200, and she's currently in second place after she had her second place performance, and we haven't seen Melissa Jefferson run a 200 in about 4 or 5 years, so we don't know what we're going to get from Melissa Jefferson, and we know what we're going to get from Jenna Prandini. It's going to be something consistent. That's what she does. It's what she's known for, and so it's possible that we get yet another upset with challengers coming through, which was one of the bigger question marks that a lot of people had of, is this going to be, if our challengers going to actually put up a good race, or is this just going to kind of be ran away by the racers? And it's nice to see some of these challengers coming through and bringing home wins.
Yeah, and you gotta think that these challengers, they're going to want to do this again. They're coming away with a victory. Are they going to get an invite to the next slam? You know, how is this going to fit into their race schedule? They're making money. They're getting confidence. They're winning. This could play a role in their future running. And I mean, why not make some extra cash? So, men's long distance again. Grant Fisher, 100,000. Agos Geberuet in second. Cooper Tier in third. So Cooper Tier was the first challenger who showed up on the men's long distance. Telehun Bekele in fourth. Dylan Jacobs fifth. Ronald Quimoy sixth. Thierry Ndukumunyayo in seventh, and Charles Philibert Thibodeau in eighth. $10,000 for Thibodeau in eighth. Really enjoying this final day. This live stream is smooth. We got no issues. Appreciate everyone sticking around. And we're putting an over-under at 22.50 for the women's 200 meters, the penultimate event before another exciting Sydney McLaughlin-Lavrone appearance. Oh, yeah, what was the wind doesn't matter on the distance events. You know, they're circling the track, but we're actually getting readings if you go to the website. That's just coming down the home stretch, I'm sure. It was -4, so there was a lot of wind.
What's your prediction for this 200 here?
Yeah, it's going to be 22.49, the victory. No clue who's going to take it. Oh, yeah, right on the dot. to the thousandth.
Love it.
Yeah, confidence is key. So, You mentioned Melissa hasn't run a 200 in what, 4 or 5 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but she's one of the Dennis Mitchell affiliates. She's one of the medalists from last year's Olympics. And where did she place on day 1? That's the question.
She won.
Okay, she won. So if she puts together a decent
Significantly,
200,
yeah.
she's got a chance. She's going to have to really show up and put together a race she hasn't run in a while. But to your point, yes, Jenna Prandini definitely favors the 2. I think Daryl Nita, very underrated 200 runner. She's been so close. She got 4th in the Olympics last year. I believe that was in the 100, but could put something together very nice. She's taken some early season wins last year over a few big names. Alana Reed is a wild card from Jamaica looking to really make her international appearance. So she's a challenger. Imagine if a challenger from Jamaica shows up, pulls off the title. That's what the home crowd wants to see.
We go nuts.
That'd be great.
Right there.
I believe Reed is only like 18 or 19 years old. Don't quote me on that. We'll have that verified. But someone of that age, she's 20, excuse me. So she just turned 20. But, someone showing up and challenging and then winning a race like this, bringing home a huge payday, you don't see that. Like, you just don't see that. So for someone to get introduced would be life-changing. So yeah, we should also mention Melissa Jefferson Wooden. She's just recently married. So congratulations. We'll pronounce the full name moving forward.
Before all the racing started, that's TJ, grew up in Montego Bay, which is that's northwest, is that correct?
Yes, north of here.
Kingston's northeast?
2.5, 3 hours.
There you go. Thank you, Sonia Richard Ross. Dancehall artist known for mixing his tight lyrics and melodic hooks. You gotta have a hook. Collaborated with Shaggy back in 2023. What I'm saying is I don't have this on my my playlist yet, but I'll make sure. I got a lot of stuff to put on it now when I get started.
So yeah, Melissa's previous 200 best is 22.46 from 2022.
That's not as long as I thought it was.
I believe that's when she was competing for Eastern Carolina, because she came out of you don't see
Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina, thank you. You don't see too many athletes coming out of that school bringing up world-class times, let alone becoming. She was the national champion 2022, now an Olympic medalist. This is going to be I feel like there's no real safe bet here. There's a lot of things that could happen.
What will she show us today? Lane 7, a great draw.
She's raced a lot already this year, so she comes in.
Cross country Chris going crazy in the chat. Dang.
There's Melissa Jefferson Wooden.
Olympic bronze medalist in the 100. She dominated yesterday. Also a part of the gold medal 4x1 relay team for Team USA.
If not here, maybe Miami, because Daryl Nita of Great Britain.
Kimba May surprise. We'll see. Yeah, get that Jamaican power coming through the second to last event here.
Tamara Clark was supposed to be in lane 4. She has scratched from this event.
That was Jodian Williams of Jamaica. She was the finalist in the indoor 60 meters at the World Indoors.
Jason Sears had a great indoor season, won the 60 at the Millrose. She came in 3rd in the 100.
Yeah, she was back this season looking strong. She looked good in the first 60 of the 100 too. This is going to be a test for her going out a little bit further to 200 meters.
And just at age 20, today might not be her day, but her days are coming for sure. Alana Reed of Jamaica.
So much history of the sprints here, so she's in really good hands, and having just this opportunity to race against the best in the world this early always bodes well for the future.
We're so used to seeing the Jamaican sprinters in the green and the yellow and the black. Don't need that. They know their own. Steve Cram, Anson Henry, the call.
So we'd have to finish 3rd and then head up between Melissa and Jenna for that championship.
So Jenna Prandini is in lane 7. Jefferson Wooden inside her in 6, Nita in 5. They get away. Good start from Jefferson Wooden. Has already made a yard on Prandini, but that won't phase her too much. She's running a good turn. Nita's just a metre or 2 behind, but it's going to be Prandini in the lead at the moment. Prandini with a half a metre. Jefferson Wooden though is starting to close it down. Can Prandini hang on? She's got to be strong here. It's going to be so tight on the line. Who's going to get it? Jefferson Wooden!
Jefferson!
Melissa Jefferson, ladies and gentlemen, got another sweep.
That race had a lot of heart right there, like towards the end. Like that was a close race going up against a veteran in this sport who's made a name kind of having strong 200 finishes, and so that was a hard fought victory there for Melissa Jefferson Wooden. So Yeah, the short sprints, they swept over both of them, which is interesting. So, shout out.
Yeah. You're getting some consistent athletes coming in, and Jefferson Wooden is a signed Grand Slam athlete, so she took down Prandini, who was a challenger. So you had another 1-2 punch on a challenger versus a Grand Slam athlete. And time, I actually don't know the time yet. I'm still waiting for confirmation. Jenna Prandini in second, 23.5. The times today are negligible. There's a lot of wind on the track. We're getting -3, -4 meters per second, slowing them down by at least 2-3 tenths at times. So the 100 and 200 times, this is all gut. This is all heart. Melissa Jefferson taking home 100 grand. Jenna Prandini in second as a challenger, 50 grand, and we're waiting for all of the top 8 to come in. We'll let you know as soon as we know.
Late, when you get called in late or something like that.
You got to think that Melissa's taken a lot of confidence from last year's season. So winning an Olympic medal is just such a morale boost. And, getting married is a very life-changing event, too. And so you think she's going to have her ducks in a row, both mentally and physically. She could be a dangerous sprinter this year.
I mean, last year was her first year with her new coach. Remember, she was still training with her old collegiate coach in, 2 seasons ago. And then she made the switch to Star Athletics to be with Sha'Carri, Tanisha Terry, and crew. So it's a big change to do that. To get a medal right when you make that swap is definitely big time. And then I'm sure, this is only going to build up her confidence as well.
Yeah, making that switch, it could be a perfect fit. She could fit right in with that training type, that training schedule, the athletes around her. All you need is one piece that doesn't fit, and you could fall apart. But if you have all the things clicking together, athletes, training partners, the race schedule, I mean, you can be invincible. So Melissa's looking very strong. I want to say she was around 23.4 for that women's 200, but again, the wind is blowing super strong. 23.46 for Jefferson. She sweeps with 24 points. Jenna Prandini in second. Jacia Sears finishes in third. So she's coming away with a big payday as well. And there's all the top standings. Jefferson Wooden, Prandini, followed by Sears. Kimba Nelson in fourth. Daryl Nita, Alana Reed, Jodine Williams, and Tamara Clark. So early season times, and we are seeing a lot of great world-class athletes competing. That's the best part from a fan's perspective. A lot of Olympians, a lot of medalists, a lot of world champions coming to race, and that is just such a treat to see in April.
Yeah, personally, I haven't really cared too much about these times as much as the competition has been. Like the races are close, they're exciting, they're fun to watch, and that's what you really hope for in a competition to make it even better. Think of it for any other sport. Are you gonna say, oh, this wasn't as great of a basketball game? Because there wasn't as much time on the clock, whatever, scoring or whatever. Nah, you want it to be a close game.
I see what you're
saying. A nice matchup. So looking forward to it. It's nice
the wind. We got a lot of people commenting the wind, -4.7. That is talking typhoon conditions. I mean, that's well over 10 miles per hour. So don't even sweat the times. The wind doesn't affect the payday. So it's great to see these competitions. And let's take this final race and look at it as what it is. A big name, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone in the women's 4. The odds are heavily in her favor, as they would say in the Hunger Games. May the odds forever be in your favor. I can't remember the exact quote, but despite,
may the odds be ever in your favor.
There it is. Thank you. I'm getting lost in all the results and the wins and thinking about all the other races, but she's coming away with $100,000. There's almost no doubt that's what's going to happen. But who's going to get second, third, fourth through eighth? Dalilah Muhammad, Russell Clayton, Andronette Knight, Kathleen Peters, and Sheehan Salmon, and Cassandra Tate. So going to be another interesting one to see what happens. And I guess the question here is, can McLaughlin-Levrone, or I guess will she try and match what Salwi Nasser did last night?
That's actually a great question.
Seems like her PR is 48.74, just 0.04 seconds outside of Sonia Richards-Ross's American record. I don't think she's going to need or want to put down that kind of effort. You see her coming on the track now. I mean, let's put a poll. Let's put just a classic barrier for the women's 400. You could probably already guess what it's going to be.
It's going to be brutal with it. Like, now they'll be cruising on the backstretch. Like, don't get me wrong, they'll be cruising on that. But
yeah,
when you're going to be
200
the
is gonna be
most
good.
tired, when you're going to be the most tired on that second half, that wind's going to hit you. Man, that's going to be different.
April is one of the windiest months in Jamaica. We used to have a kite festival around this time because of the high winds. Interesting. Yeah, that's worth mentioning. These are the kind of things you don't know about and locals can attest to. So that's April in Jamaica. You're either going to get a crazy headwind or a crazy tailwind. I've always been a fan of the idea. You see which way the wind is going, and you specifically take the 200s and 100s and move them to where you can get a strong tailwind. That's when you see crazy times like 9.6s in the men's 100, 19.6 in the twos. I mean, I get that that's not always feasible, and you have to move the finishing, electronic clock and timing to fit that possibility. But that's the dream. You want to see headwind. You want to see tailwinds, not headwinds. Little note: the men's 200 world record by Bolt was into a slight headwind. And I believe that's the only sprinting world record that was achieved into a headwind. Just another talking point on Bolt's GOAT status.
It was in New York, right? Or am I thinking
200 was in Berlin, 2009 world champs. But he did break his first 100 world record in New York, a 9.72, right after a slight rain when he beat Tyson Gay. That was after he ran a 9.76 in Jamaica, and the world's like, this can't be real. This man's not that fast. And he comes back and slaps. And then he goes to Beijing, literally slaps his chest, 9.69. So fun to talk about Bolt. And I'm curious if he's made an appearance because he's got the statue out front, current world record holder in the 1 and the 2. He showed up last year, I believe, but a few races in Kingston. But
I know he's got he's probably has some family stuff right now. I saw, his father had unfortunately passed a couple days ago, so I'm sure it might be a tough time for him to be around out in public, trying to be that great Usain Bolt, where I know he's going through a lot over the last couple days. So I'm sure he might have had some plans, and I wouldn't be too surprised if it just, became a little more difficult for him.
Yeah, condolences to the family of Bolt. That's never easy. So thoughts and prayers go out. But we're closing in on the last race, the women's 400. McLaughlin-Levrone heavily favored. We have some Jamaican contingent talents. We got Sheehan Salmon, Andronette Knight, and Rochelle Clayton. Who's going to get second? Who is going to get second? You can hear Melissa Jefferson super happy she's bringing home that 6-figure cash. I mean, why wouldn't you be giddy with excitement? That's just amazing. And we got most people saying we're going to see a sub 50 here. I guess another question is, what's the gap going to be from first to second? And anything is possible. McLaughlin-Levrone is not guaranteed the win. Rochelle Clayton, 51.81, super respectable 4. You never can be guaranteed the victory.
Yeah, and there's a chance that I run a sub 10-100 this year too. Yeah, I guess we're all technically right.
Another great
Sidney McLaughlin's. I'm even more confident in. Yeah. Next thing you're gonna tell me is our drone catch guy is gonna drop the drone. It's like,
not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. That's what your next video has to be on. What if I told you the best catcher in the world doesn't play baseball? He's actually the drone catcher for the Grand Slam track. I think that would be a viral video.
We'll get the script going. All right, we're closing in on the race. Stadium's getting quiet, so let us up the sound in the stadium.
I think that will be a dominant performance.
Still waiting to just see one smile before the competition. She does afterwards. Actually, she just sits on the ground afterwards and just kind of is breath. But it's time to watch Sidney McLaughlin-Levrone. I don't think she'll disappoint. Upstairs, Steve Cram and St. Henry have the call.
Sydney McLaughlin starts pretty quickly as expected. Down the back straight into 200 meters. Clayton going well. McLaughlin Levrone doing what she does best. McLaughlin Levrone over the last hurdle. 52.76. Really, really strong performance. Full lineup from the outside. Dalilah Muhammad, who finished second in race 1. An excellent performance, says, "This is my retirement year. No more after 2025," which would be a shame. She's been a brilliant athlete her whole career and would be, or is enjoying being part of Grand Slam. Sean Salmon.
Yeah, this first meet was definitely I want to, before we get to this race, and talk about the full meet while everyone's here still locked in. This was an amazing experience so far, and we will have live streams. The tentative plan is for live streams to be available through each slam. And now that we've got the streams figured out, now that we're going to have different camera angles, we're going to recommend that while races are going on, we've got one picture. I think the quad angles help a lot during distance races, and I think they're great before and after races to see different reactions, right? But we're going to relay all of this information to Creator Sports Network. They're watching a lot of these streams, so if you have any thoughts, any recommendations, any ideas, leave your thoughts in the chat. Yeah, this is going to be a great year for track, and we're really excited to have partnered and be a part of this with Creator Sports Network and Peacock and CW. They have the main broadcasts, but these creator broadcasts are really, really fun, really enjoyable, and I'm having a great time. I hope everyone's having a great time, and we'll see if anyone goes sub 50 here. And yes, let's listen on the track.
Just might find the others moving away from her here, particularly I think with Peters in the lane 3. So we're all eyes on Sydney. Anson, you can't see anything different other than a dominant victory for her here.
Yeah, it's tough conditions to really put down a fast time here. So logically, we'll see her just secure the victory.
What would you consider fast in this?
Well, if she's able to break 50 point, she'd run 49 something in these conditions. That would be extremely impressive.
So women's long hurdles, race 2, 400 meter flat.
Set.
Just got held a little bit longer by the starter there, but they're away and gone. McLaughlin Levrone already making ground, and we've just had a pull-up from Rochelle Clayton, who's pulled up in the first 100 meters, maybe trying to hang on to the American, who knows. Going very quickly, Cassandra Tate, right on the inside, has started exceptionally quickly through the first 200 meters. But it's McLaughlin Levrone out in lane 6, smoothly making their way around the top end. Cassandra Tate, eyed on the inside, has run an excellent first 300, but is she going to pay for that as they come into the wind in the home straight? Sydney out on her own as we expected it to be, then it's going to be a real scrap for the minor places behind her. Tate is just starting to tread water in the home straight there, but it's Sydney McLaughlin Levrone who's going to come through to make it 2 wins in the women's long hurdles. It's 50.32. Knight just took second place. It was...
I mean, that was a very easy win for her, and notably 50.32, more or less the exact time of her 400 hurdles world record from last year in the Olympics, 50.37. But you know, today the conditions are not ideal. Strong wins, but a strong win from Sydney McLaughlin Levrone.
Yeah, no, big win for her. I mean, I'm really curious though. Now, what would have happened had she been in that other 400 where she would have been pressured, you know, throughout the race? Like, that would have been an interesting one to see. But I mean, overall, great competition. I guess before we sign off, I'd love to hear just kind of your thoughts on, this was our first Grand Slam track experience. Did it live up to your expectations? Did it fall short? What were some of the good, some of the areas of improvement? What were kind of your thoughts on this as we kind of wrap things up and look forward towards Miami coming up soon here?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not exactly sure what my expectations were, but now that we've kind of concluded and we're allowing all the times to sink in, I think that the athletes present, the times run, it was very entertaining and great for early season. We had a lot of people tuning in, a lot of concurrent viewers. Leave your thoughts on your favorite moments and what you thought of Grand Slam, because we want to know too. We want to hear you guys. Y'all's input is really the ones that matter the most. So I think I was very impressed with a lot of the times. I was, skeptical that they weren't going to be great because it's early season, distances, it's going to be hot. And unfortunately, the wind really did play a factor today. So you just didn't see the 100 to 200 times that, are very possible. But when the wind cooperated, we saw some kind of crazy times. We saw Salweed Nasser's 48.67. We saw 1450, 5,000 in Jamaica without pacers. And I think that people are going to figure out the best kind of racing strategy moving into the next slam in Miami, which comes up in just a few weeks. So we'll be posting any and all updates. I'm curious, what did you think, Colin? What was your takeaway from this?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a solid first start. I mean, there's a lot of things to build on. There was a lot of excitement. Like we said, this is the most hyped up regular season track meet in track and field history, so it's hard to live up to those expectations. And I'd say, for the most part, it was good. I mean, some of the changes, I think, just because there was, then look at that catch by the drone, last
Just
one of the
10
day.
out of
Excellent.
10. Wow.
We need a video on him ASAP. So yeah, like that was like, I think it was exciting. It was just like some of the things of some athletes that were injured that made it, not as exciting for, this 400-meter hurdles. Like, it would have been nice to see Shamir Little in this, but that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. Quincy Hall would have been great to have him in there. Just some of those things where it would have made those races even better. But for what we had, I mean, I think it was overall done fairly well. So yeah.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I think that, again, the idea is one thing and the execution is another. And as far as there's so many things that were up in the air, and I think the stream did great. I think the media operators did great. We're super grateful for the stream, and I know I'm seeing a lot of positivity in the chat today. And figuring out the stream and the cameras are still in progress, but everything is making progress, and that's what's important. We're working together. We're teaming with Creator Sports Network, Peacock, CW. Super grateful for the opportunity, and I can only imagine this is going to get better. From the athletes, from the media, from the production to the total amount of views. Like, this is coming together very quickly. And Colin, you have a pretty interesting perspective on one specific aspect of this, and you work in ticket sales, and you work in just getting people in the seats. And there were a lot more people in the seats than I think people realized. I think the Jamaica Stadium has about a 30,000 seat capacity. It was going to be next to impossible to fill up the whole thing, but how do we take this this experience, go to Miami, and get everyone there so it's an even more hyped event in person?
Yeah, so I think something that is good for Miami is that it is a much smaller venue, which you would think, why would you want it to be a smaller venue? That's going to, that means there's less people. But you need to have a venue that fits the amount of people that are actually going to attend. And so when you have a venue like this, where there's 30,000 people that can be sitting in this building, but they're all spread out, it looks a lot more empty than if you had a much smaller venue where everyone's concentrated into a smaller area. And so that's what Miramar really is. Like, that's a much smaller thing that can have a much better concentration of athletes. And then they're going right back to Philly, which has a much larger one. So, I mean, if I were them, I'd try to, be having more ticket promos. If they could have sales reps that are calling people, trying to sell group tickets, experiences, those are some things that I'm sure could help move the needle a little bit more and provide some extra value for fans to do outside of just watching the regular track meet. But I think that it was pretty good. I know that some people were giving them flack, like, oh, you were giving out free tickets, like, to locals. That happens in literally every sport. Like, every single sport you can think of gives out complimentary tickets. It's a guarantee. So that is not something that's abnormal. Literally every team does it. And so, like, that is a fairly normal thing. But overall, successful competition, and definitely looking forward to seeing how this looks in a couple weeks here.
Yeah, Miami's, you mentioned the Miramar Stadium. That was actually, I believe, what Miramar Invite had yesterday. They might have a tenth of the seating capacity of what we have here in Jamaica. And this is this is one of the biggest stadiums in track right now. I mean, other than the World Champ stadiums and a lot of the big stadiums in London, this one's specifically for track. And I mean, this might have the richest heritage of track races in the world. Like, this has got decades and decades of great performances and even record times run on here. So, a very historic mark and location to start this off. And I think they did it right. Jamaica is one of the most passionate countries about athletics across the board. And it's a place you go for track, and you get treated like royalty. And you can ask any track fan; they know about Jamaica. So, um, looking forward to what happens in Miami. And I mean, I can only imagine that we're gonna have just a higher production quality across the board. This is super exciting, and I am very much looking forward to continuing this, getting many people involved in the stream, and we need to find ways to get people interacting and making predictions and just you want to have people invested in this. And from a sales rep, from a salesperson, how do you get people invested in track?
Yeah, I mean, if I were them, like it would be providing extra experiences. Like you have to like if you like hey, if you have a group of 10 or more people buy tickets, you'll be able to maybe it's you can have people that are going to hold the tape when they're crossing the finish line.
That's a good one.
Maybe it's you do a meet and greet with the athletes at the end, or maybe it's you get autographed items, you get photos, maybe you get to be on the track during warm-ups. There things like that where it's like these are experiences that you typically don't get access to. That's how you get people to buy tickets and get people to be more interested and invested in the sport. So hopefully they'll look into that and do some more, because I don't think that's currently available in a lot of track and field. So awesome stream, exciting stuff. I actually do have to record a podcast on this in about 5 minutes. So thank you for having me, though.
Yeah, Colin, it's been fun.
Andrew, it's been a lot of fun. And if you want to listen to that, my podcast, it'll be coming out tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Take a look at Track World News. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Give us some
I'm going to stick
subscribe,
around and read a
there.
few comments and give some feedback on this, because I want to hear what everyone has to say on the stream, and I want to relay that information over to everyone at Creator Sports Network, Peacock, CW, and just get what the crowd's feelings are. And if you're still sticking around, then my guess is you're a die-hard track and field fan. So I'm reading that a lot of y'all definitely enjoyed it, and today's stream was the best stream without question. Everyone worked hard to get this up to where it was, and adios to Colin. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to take a few minutes here just before we end, and I want to hear y'all's input. Give me your pros, give me your cons, give me the things you really enjoyed, things you found a little troubling, or the best parts. I think what's happening is what's hopefully going to happen is that we're going to take quad screen. We can do that for partial moments of the event, and then once the races go live, we can actually take those quad screens and turn it into one screen, or maybe two. Like, it's good to focus in on the athletes once the races are actually happening. That was one of the takeaways I got from everyone. You're welcome, Jan. Great stream today. Adam, this was a lot of fun. Eric Wigland Ostide, I probably pronounced that terribly. You're still here. First stream was pretty shaky, but seeing the growth, quick responses in just 1 week was a huge double. Yeah, I mean, I will say Creator Sports Network, Peacock, and CW has been very responsive, very helpful in the whole process. Today's stream was the best. It was camera selection could be better. Okay, noted. Good stream. Good stream, but the streaming and the one camera during the race. Give the YouTube team our gratitude first. Appreciate. Will do. This was a total win on the final day. The next slam is in Miami. I believe it's May 2nd through the 4th, so another Friday through Sunday. Times are still pending, but I believe it's going to be the same, 6 to 9 on Friday, 6 to 9 on Saturday, and 3 to 6 on Sunday. It's in the same stadium that the Miramar Invite was in yesterday. A lot of great times have been run there early season, so you might be looking at some burners. Want to see the event again with Shelly, Elaine, Sharika, Brianne. Yeah, that's the dream. Get some of the goats out. Excited for the track athletes. At least they are being seen and honored for their very hard work. Yeah, it's great to see them out, and getting them paid too is really great. Grand Slam was great. It's the first slam and first season opener for the athletes. Great overall experience. Appreciate it. Yeah. You're welcome for the stream. There are competing events taking place just across the stadium. Interesting. Well, crowd pull would have been a challenge. Yeah, I mean, you can't really prepare for other events going on at the same time. Again, I feel like there were more people than people realized. That was a huge stadium, a big ask to fill that stadium. Glad track athletes are making money. Cross country Chris, you hit the nail on the head. Me too. Thankful for something I enjoy is on so I can release some stress in Arizona dealing with American craziness. Beach girl Carly, appreciate the comment. First slam, first season opener, better resolution. Okay, yeah. Fulani, I'll check on the resolution. Find stadiums that are a bit more intimate. Yeah, that definitely is going to be the Miami or the Miramar Stadium. That's going to be at it's called the Anson Sports Complex. You can go and check on that Anson Sports Complex. It's it's a great track, a lot smaller for stadium. Just how many people can be there. Thank you for the hard work. Live close to the stadium here in Jamaica, but hard work and never felt I missed out. That's awesome. Yeah. Yesterday's stream was shaky, but we're confident we fixed those bugs. You are good for the sport, TRP. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that. Few closing thoughts. The men's 3000, definitely not time-wise what anyone would have expected, and Grant knew that he only needed to finish third to take the win. And that's what he did. So smart running from him. He is a Stanford grad after all. You can't bash him for running back in the pack on a hot day and closing hard for third. First Grand Slam was great. Can't wait to watch the next one. Love the format. 15 would have been crazy if there was Jakob in it. Hopefully Jakob can make an appearance at some point as a challenger, but there's no word on him running at all in the slam. Again, he's going through some family issues right now, so it'll be more difficult for him to change up scheduling. He runs a lot in Europe. Maybe YouTube team can have their journalist or interview on the ground. That's a great idea, Fulani. We'll check with that because when athletes are getting interviewed, we're not seeing anything. We can hear it. We can see if we can get that feed to come in as well. Jakob was in the court. I'm glad the athletes get the chance to benefit from the sport they love and work hard. They should benefit for something that they invest in hours and hours every day. Total Running Productions, for real, you got a point on that. Cross country, Chris, appreciate the kind words. What about Sha'Carri and Noah Lyles? Yeah, I mean, I would love for Sha'Carri to show up as a challenger, do the 1 and 2, and same for Noah. Noah has mentioned that, he, unlike most athletes, he's not looking for a big financial incentive while maybe other athletes are. He was looking for exposure. I mean, there's a chance, given what happened right now, maybe Philadelphia, maybe Los Angeles, he'll jump in. We will have to wait and see. Local influencers in each location need to come out, helps pull crowd, also try to have a post-event party. Okay. I've heard the party in Monaco post-Diamond League is pretty crazy. And if you remember last year in Athlos, I mean, you had actual celebrities on site. You had Sean Evans from Hot Ones. Shout out to Hot Ones. You had Flavor Flav bringing back some 90s rap. Just you had a handful of celebrities on site. I actually want to look this up because if you can get some local talent, that would be great. And again, maybe Bolt was slated to be on site, and maybe he was going to bring in some more crowd numbers. But again, the unfortunate passing of his father, it's understandable for him not to be there. So I'm actually going to look this up. Athletes, celebrities on site. I don't know if I can find this, but in attendance, Shonda Rhimes, Flavor Flav, Lupita Nyong'o, Sean Evans, Gail Devers. Yeah, she was the Olympic champion. Megan Thee Stallion. That had to have brought out a lot of people. And you had the founder of Reddit and Serena Williams' husband, Alex Ohanian, organizing the whole thing. He's had a lot of good ideas, a lot of good execution. Again, they had prize money. They had the Tiffany and Company crowns. A lot of new ideas coming in for that race. So maybe we can take some of that as inspiration moving into the next slams. That would be great, yeah. Yeah, last year was the first time Athlos premiered. And they had a prize purse not quite as high as Grand Slam, but I believe the winner got $50,000 or was it $60,000? So athletes came to get paid. Yeah, much better today. It really was. It was a lot of fun too. Really enjoyed it. Local bands the first day. I mean, when you're talking about a lot of people living in one area, Miami is going to be an actual powerhouse of celebrities, very wealthy people, and you know, maybe you can get some people coming up, showing up on a few yachts, looking for some local talent to show up. All right, I think that's gonna conclude today's stream, guys. I really, really enjoyed today. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back posting regular content throughout the week. We'll hopefully be back come the Miami stream. We'll be in touch with everyone, letting you know if that's possible. But for now, thank you all for watching. And I'm not going to sign off like I do in the videos right now, but it's been fun. We'll see you later.